we gather in the cosmos bright. Stars and ships take flight tonight. In the void where dreams do play, soul citizens lead the way. Borders fade in nebula's light. Unknown worlds will chart tonight. Through the galaxy we soar. Endless journeys at our core. Borders fade in nebula's light. Unknown worlds will chart tonight. Through the galaxy we soar. Endless journeys at our core. Starry roads in endless skies. Soul citizens we rise. Charting courses never lost. Together the verses crossed. Squadrons call on the horizon. Battles fought, our hearts aren't frightened. In our ships we face the dawn. Soul citizens carry on. Oh, planets spin and light years fly. Boundless space where hopes reside. Brotherhood in every star. Soul citizens, here we are. Borders fade in nebula's light. Unknown worlds will chart tonight. Through the galaxy we soar. Endless journeys at our core. Starry roads in endless skies. Soul citizens we rise. Charting courses never lost. Together the verses crossed.
Hello, hello. Greetings. Welcome back to the Soul Citizens. I'm GriffinGamingRPG, and today is Sunday, June the 21st, and I am joined once again with my good friend, longtime friend, co-producer, the one and the only, fastcart FC. How are you, buddy?
Doing all right, and Possum Space, thank you for the subscription. Appreciate you, and happy Father's Day to everybody out there. I don't know if it's
Absolutely.
worldwide, but in the U.S. especially. But yeah, happy Father's Day.
Yeah, for those of you who celebrate Father's Day, we want to wish you the very best, and we appreciate the fact that, well, hopefully, someone from your family took care of you, whether you're a granddad, a dad, an uncle, a stand-in dad, stepdad, whatever it is, old granddad. Fastcard, you know about old granddad, right? You know about that, right?
I don't know about the old granddad, but I'm the crazy uncle, so no one took care of me.
Yeah. Well, we hope that you guys had a good holiday for those of you who do celebrate that. And again, we're glad that you guys are here with us this week. We've got a lot to cover, as always. Pops, again, thank you for dropping that right at the beginning, kicking us off with a nice little sub. We truly appreciate the support. Want to give out some quick shout outs to everybody. We've got Vartano was number one here today. Vartano, good to have you here. Daz69, Shitucky is here. Attack Cat. Deka, 1982, good to see you. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, we're glad you're here, man. We're glad you could make it with us today. Pops in Space, we mentioned him already. The Prisoner, kicking us off as always, and Citizen Joel, good to see you as well. Coffee is here. Hey, good to see Coffee. Coffee Gaming's a long-time supporter and been around. He's been following us for a long time. And
I think Coffee Gaming predates me almost.
it's been a long time.
Had a different name back then, but yeah.
I know. You're the meat coma. Okay, Deka. Well, you sit back and relax, and hopefully you'll enjoy the show today. It's going to be kind of a different conversation that we have today. For those of you who were here last week, we kind of opened the mic. We hadn't done that in quite a while, and so we announced that last week's show and this week's show would be open mic, where we would let you guys come in and talk about our subjects with us. So when we get to that for the second half, be prepared. That'll be for the second half of the show. But for now, we're going to go ahead and talk about a lot of what's been going on this week.
Whoa.
Oh my God. Oh, Matt Style. Thank you so much, Mad Style 1911. As always, we appreciate you. Y'all show some love to Mad Style for giving out some love to our
Thank
folks
you.
here. That is so awesome. Segellian is here. Hey, Segellian, good to see you. I hope you are doing good. And Levangie fan is here. That's another great streamer who's here. We got streamers sitting in joining us tonight. Thank you guys so much for that. Deka, thank you as well.
Not to be outdone.
Yeah,
not to be outdone.
and Deka gave coffee one, so that's kind of funny. You know, we're just talking about coffee a minute ago. But thank you guys so much for that. We appreciate the support. You guys are awesome. FC this week was an interesting week for me. First of all, I got to go to the Obama library opening, which was on Thursday, right here in Chicago, where I live, right here in the Midwest. And then the following day, we had a different type of celebration. Let me see if I can make sure I get this all set up here. I think I have everything set up for it. It was Juneteenth. We celebrated Juneteenth here in the United States. I know a lot of people don't know what Juneteenth is or wonder what Juneteenth is. And I know we mentioned it like the last few years, but I don't think we ever really talked about Juneteenth. When you grew up, did you know anything about Juneteenth, or was that something that you found out?
Man, like 10 years ago.
Right. A lot of folks found out about it later, but it goes back quite a while, right? But just a real quick thing for those of you who don't know what Juneteenth is, because there's a lot of misconceptions about it. Juneteenth is basically the celebration here in the United States for Black Americans, and it celebrates when slavery officially ended, like when it really, really ended. Because even though the president at the time, Abraham Lincoln, had done the Emancipation Proclamation, there were still certain states that did not honor it and didn't tell the slaves that they were free, basically. And so the military had to go into Texas. There you go, prisoner. Prisoner knows the history, and went into Texas and basically said, "Hey, they're supposed to be free." And so that was when slavery, even though it was abolished from the president's side, people didn't follow through of it, and the last of it didn't happen until 1865, June 19th. That's where the thing Juneteenth comes from, is because of that celebration. And so the representation, when you see that flag there are some representations of various things. The colors for red and blue, obviously, are the colors for the United States. They still represent that. The curve that you see, the arc, is just basically saying there's a new day, a new horizon. The Nova Burst, I think the Nova Burst, it says the burst is to outline the star. I can't even read that in terms of
a new beginning. A new beginning.
That's what it is. A new beginning. Yeah, a new beginning. Thank you. And then, of course, the star in the center represented the state of Texas, because that was the very last state that it came out in. So anyway, that was on this past Friday. And did you do anything for Juneteenth, Fastcart, or did you just chill like most people do in any type of holiday?
I just chilled.
That's chilled. Did they have any celebrations where you live, or no? Anything in the communities that you knew of? Because there was stuff here like all over the place.
Yeah, all over the place. I didn't participate, but
different things.
They do it in Boston. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Very cool. All right, well, that was on this past Friday. This week in Star Citizen was Alien Week, and folks have been kind of looking forward to Alien Week this year, because the last few years, Alien Week had just kind of been Alien Week, right? Nothing. Yeah, there was nothing alien about it, right?
I mean, they had ships and it had a sail, but nothing really,
right. But nothing new, no announcements. I can't even think if there was.
Every year we were hoping for some BMM news, and every year we were disappointed.
Every year you were waiting on some BMM news.
No, I'm not the only one. There's a whole bunch of us.
Okay, that's true.
There's a BMM club, like a yacht club.
That is true. There is. So this week was in the humanity's appreciation for all of its alien allies, whether Banu, Xi'an, Tevarin. Is it Tevarin, Tevarin? People say both of them. Tomato, right? Continues to foster collaboration and celebration around the verse. Since first contact over half a millennia ago, our shared kinships have only grown stronger. Join the festivities as we give thanks to our pan-galactic peers. Proudly don new paints, discover Gatak's newest ships, silence the Vanduul threat in Arena Commander, and pay homage to any or all of the aliens with your own artistic creation. I don't know, fastcart. I'm still like really lazy. Maybe I'm just getting old and just don't feel like being bothered. But CIG quite often does have these different things that go on when these days come around. So like there's, sometimes it's like cookbook, sometimes it's making a costume, sometimes it's doing stuff with Legos, artwork, models,
A
whatever.
pumpkin.
Yeah, just any type of, there's something that goes along with it that we do to contribute, take photos and submit it and stuff like that, and people can get things. Have you done anything on any of these? Have you ever done any of them at all? Like, did you ever
I was
submit
tempted
something?
one time. I forget which one it was, but I was tempted one time, but I didn't follow through. But no, I haven't done anything like that for any of
Okay,
these.
okay.
I mean, because
Um,
the thing is, a lot of the people that participate are into arts and crafts, so there's no way I could compete anyway. Do it. So if
well,
I
I
do it, I'll
mean,
do it just for me, and
yeah,
not
yeah.
not
Well,
not really to
dude,
win anything.
I don't,
Yeah.
I don't, wouldn't say that you couldn't do it. You just have to. It'd have to be something that you'd really want to do. I think. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I've watched people do like Lego ships of stuff, and it's like, wow, I never thought about making a Lego out of a, what's that thing called? What's the little orange shuttle thing that goes from ship to ship?
Oh,
And the
not the SUV. Yeah, I know the
what's
type of
that thing
Argo.
called? The Argo thing. Yeah, somebody did like a
Yeah.
whole house, and it looked like it looked really good. I was like, dang, that
Hmm.
was pretty cool. So yeah, MPUV, thank you, Escapade. Thank you so much for that. There was going to answer a question. Yes, Lord of the Drip. Yes, the Tayuli is on sale. Yes, it is on sale already, as you put it. And so we kind of talked a little bit about that last week, that we didn't know what this new ship was going to be. Let's see, who is this? My sister's
You were
calling
giving a
me.
sneak peek,
Let's
and
see.
we got it wrong. But we were
Yeah.
we were in the
Fast cart,
ballpark, sort of.
do me a favor and talk a little bit about that because I've got to take this call, okay?
Okay, yeah. So last week we had the sneak peek. It turned out to be well. I thought it was going to be like an elevator lift because I thought we were looking at the bottom, but I thought him guess correctly. He said it was the hangar opening for the snuff fighters to come out. So yes, it opens up like really mechanically. We'll probably have a little bit of the video in a bit. But yeah, so it's cool and. I didn't get the Tai Louis. I still mispronounce it sometime, but I do have the railing,
T. I
so
think it's
I'm at
T. I think it's T. I think the Y is
T
pronounced
Louis.
E, like a E instead of a Y. I think. I think it's
T
T
Louis.
Louis. T Louis. T
Okay.
Louis. Something like
Okay.
that.
Yeah,
Yes,
almost
that's what
always said
almost
that.
says. Yeah, T Louis. Uh-huh. Yeah. Um, we did a little bit of wondering about pricing on these ships, right? And where did we land? I think I was
I
325 to 375. Where were you at?
I said 380 to 400, so I was like
So you
right
were
on there.
closer on point. You were closer on point for this one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I was surprised there was a $40 difference between the war bond and the on-site credit one. So yeah, 360 to 400 was the real price.
okay. Okay. For those of you who, most of us were very familiar, like you said, with the Raylan. We kind of knew what was coming with that. And there were some minor changes to it, but I think they were changes that were improvements. They were just some design changes. But the T
Yeah,
Louis,
I didn't mind them.
yeah, but the T Louis, we had no idea of what that was going to
Mm-mm.
be. I think the closest we got was you suggested the idea that when we looked at the sneak peek last week, that it looked like some type of doors or something that would come down for cargo or something. I said, I think you were pretty close. And sure enough, it was doors. We looked at the design of it, but I never expected it to be something that's going to shuttle
A
other
pocket carrier.
ships. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
did
was
not
yeah.
expect that. I did not expect that.
Especially for an
Um,
alien ship, because we already had the not the Legionnaire, it starts with the L.
oh,
I
the
always
Liberator.
Liberator. We already had
Yeah,
the Liberator, so
yeah.
I wonder if people like got this in lieu of the Liberator, and hopefully hoping that when the Liberator comes out, they can upgrade or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. How did you feel about the pricing for this? Do you feel like it's like they're on the mark, high, more that was going to be? I know you said I
Uh
know you guesstimated the price, but I'm just saying, how do you feel about it now that you know what the price is?
oh, for the Railing or for the Ty Louis, T Louis.
You could, both of them. You can talk about whichever one you want to talk about.
The T Louis, I'm sorry for Railing. I'm not surprised. I'm looking for the price of the T Louis right now.
The T Louis came out at cash at 385.
285 and or 550. No, wait, that's not right.
No,
Oh, that's
385
Timmons offer.
for cash
385 and 425.
and
Okay.
425. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's not too bad. a $40 difference, just like the railing. It's pretty neat. I mean, it's repair, rearm, and refuel, right? So, and it fits like 4 ships in there. I think that's okay. I mean, it's not something I would get, but for the railing, that's what I expected. So, yeah, it's right in that ballpark. Even though it's the same price as the C2, $400.
Mhm.
It carries less, but it has that cool factor like we talked about last week,
Mhm.
and the
Well, see,
alien factor we talked about
yeah.
last week. So yeah, I'm not too surprised.
So we were both right in our pricing. You took the pricing for credit, which you usually do, and I took the pricing for cash, which mine was 325 to 375, and I came in at 360. I'm glad because I was so worried about them getting too close to the C2 price of 400, but I knew it needed to be more than a Caterpillar. So that's why I kind of hoped that it was going to land in that range somewhere. A lot of people like a lot of the paints for this ship too. Have you seen the paints? Because people seem to
I got
really
two of
like
them.
a lot of them. Oh, you did? Okay, okay,
Yeah, I got two
okay,
of them. So that I didn't get anything else this alien week, but I did get two paints for the railing. I didn't get mess with the telluri.
okay. Well, that's not bad then. If that's what you did, then okay, that's cool. Um, what else was I going to ask? There was something else about Alien Week I wanted to ask about, but we talked about the contests, all that stuff. I guess that was it, right? Was there something else that I'm missing in relation to
Not that I
that?
know of.
Oh, yeah, by the way, I didn't know. I was just telling Fastcart this. I overlooked the fact that Arena Commander has some winnings there that you can do if you guys want to win some stuff in Arena Commander. I think it's with the Vandal stuff, Vandal Swarm thing. So if you're interested in getting some cool stuff that way, take a look at that for Arena Commander. It's on the Alien page. They talk about that a little bit. And we talked about the paints, the ships, the FanDuel threat. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's it. Okay. All righty. As we're moving through Alien Week, which will probably be over with since it's Alien Week, it'll be over what, next Tuesday? Is that would be the
I'm
last
not
day?
sure today.
Because it started on
Yeah,
Wednesday.
if it's a week, yeah, if it's a week,
Yeah, so
yeah.
it'd be
But
next Tuesday.
typically they go over. Typically they go
They
over,
may
but
go over a
yeah,
little bit.
it's not a
Okay.
yeah.
All right, cool. All right. All right. We had Roadmap Roundup, which also dropped on Wednesday. Wednesday was a very, very busy day. And as you guys know, every 2 weeks, CIG does the updates to the roadmap. They're pretty consistent with that. And of course, they were kind of rounding out things with Alpha 4.8, letting us know, of course, that the Raylan and the Tiuli were both being released. But they also gave us some information about 4.9. First item that they talked about was item recovery, ship loadout improvements. As you guys know, this got introduced in 4.8. The loadouts, how we save, do our quote unquote insurance for our ships. That has all been done, and folks gave feedback to it, and now they're doing some improvements and some slight changes to it. One of the things they say is that they're going to be implementing ship loadout improvements, updating the ship and item recovery to better support custom loadouts through timed claims, optional expedite fees, freight elevator item claims, and debuting a free recovery option when losses are detected outside of a player's control. Now, when this first came up with 4.8, I had expressed concerns about this, and I said, I hope that the stability of the game is good enough, even though I knew it probably wouldn't be because it would take a lot for that to happen. Because when people lose things and it's not their fault, the game bugs out, something happens, and then they have to pay for it, then that's really painful and very frustrating. And so hopefully whatever this is that is set up to detect when somebody loses their ship because of something that they didn't do, hopefully that works and it'll make people feel a little bit better. Because I know Captain Jones told me when the Idris bug popped up, it cost him like $800,000 to get his ship back, back the way it was. And it was because the game bugged out. It wasn't because of anything that he did. So yeah, that's going to be this
And,
item recovery.
and people don't have the cash that they once had before the wipe. So that's the
I
other
think that,
thing.
yeah, I mean, that's part of it, but
It hurts more now than it would have last
yeah,
time.
yeah, I think that yeah, especially because money is not money, but credits is something right now, and people are still building it. But even if you do build it, to lose 1 million, because of something that you didn't do, that's still a lot of dough.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are, they're actually now stocking their ships and changing things and modifying them, where before they would just kind of run them stock, and it can be a bit painful. So especially if you're doing torps and missiles and all that stuff, it's a lot. So the other thing that came up was this new Nine Tails armor. Did you see it, Fastcart? I'm sorry we don't have the
I think I
images,
did.
guys.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I did.
there's
It
a
looks
light,
cool.
medium, and a heavy. Yeah, and they kind of have a kind of a kabuki kind of style to the helmets a little bit. Japanese kabuki style. There's like a Darth Vaderish kind of helmet on the heavy, if I'm remembering correctly, or is it on the middle one? I can't remember. But
I
they've
can't remember.
definitely changed the look of it. It still has the logo and stuff for Nine Tails. Space Samurai. There you go, Deka. But I didn't mean to say kabuki. Thank you, Samurai. Forgive me. Those
Yeah,
are
you
my.
said I'm like, wait, what?
I'm
I
sorry.
wasn't going
I'm
to correct
sorry.
you.
Yeah, I'm thinking the makeup. No, you should have corrected me because I'm sounding crazy. Samurai, yeah, is much more of a samurai look, and it's very, very cool. So if you guys haven't seen those, they look very, very interesting. Are you? I don't know if Escar, are you into that type of stuff? Like some people, they want to get all the armors, whether it's a good person, bad person. Nope, not you, huh? Let me ask you a question.
Uh,
If it's something that you would sell on your BMM, would you get it then? Or would you just have it like on a mannequin as a display, but you wouldn't sell it?
I'll have it on mannequin. Hopefully, they'll be able to allow us to sell from the mannequin like a kiosk or whatever. So hopefully that'll be a thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
if it's easy, I'll do it. But
People
yeah,
pay.
I,
People pay for this stuff now.
I-
People pay for those suits now. People pay crazy money
yeah,
for some of the armors that they can't get themselves in the game.
that's true. I was gonna say that I have my red alert armor set, so I'm good when it comes to armor. I have armor from Luminalia and everything from 2014 on.
So you're not a
I'm
collector,
good.
because
I'm
you
not.
told me you were a collector, a completionist. That's why I thought you would get it.
Oh, for certain ships, but not for armors and stuff like weapons. I have too many weapons right now, so yeah,
Okay.
I'm good when it comes to those things.
Okay, so just for ships. Okay, I got you. I got you. Yeah, it's just the interesting kind of thing of what they're doing.
So I have a question for you.
Sure.
So you were saying for 4.8 they put in too much stuff. They're trying to change too much stuff. How do you feel about 4.9? What you've seen so far?
I mean, if it's just this is minor in comparison to what they did in 4.8 to me. 4.8 had like large scale changes that were being dropped all at the same time. Everything from the white for everybody. Tree, what's going on, Tree? Good to see you. I hope you are doing well. Tree0311. Excuse me, great guy. We've been on Paul's show with him several times. I hope you had a great stream, my friend, and thank you for sending your loved ones over here with us. Welcome, Raiders, to Soul Citizens.
Welcome, Raiders.
I'm Griffin Gaming. He is Fastcart, and we're just kind of going over this week in Star Citizen, and we're going to have a little topic later on that maybe you'll be interested in. But Tree, hope you're doing well, buddy. You all make sure you all check out Tree.
Yeah, he said he saw you got around the time for dinner. So
I understand.
hope you had a great Father's Day.
Go eat.
Hope you had a great Father's Day. And I hope you have a good dinner.
You completed TSG. Congrats. That's awesome. Hope you had a good time, buddy. That's great. Thank you again. Yes, so there was a lot of stuff that they dropped in 4.8. There was just a lot of stuff, big stuff. And I just kind of felt like all that plus the free fly plus Defense Con. I mean, it was just a lot going on, But anyway, I think this one's a little bit more of a manageable patch, but they still got that stuff to still make sure it's working. So, their work isn't still cut out for them. The Bearing CQ7 bullpup rifle. I got a chance to look at this, and it's kind of I have mixed feelings about the design. It looks like a traditional bullpup, but they did some modifications to it, and I guess I kind of have to say, well, for the sake of doing something that looks different, sometimes something's different doesn't mean it looks all that great. It's not like my look for a gun, but they did something a little bit different with it. I'm not sure if you're familiar with what a bullpup normally looks like. Are you? Okay.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, they got this interesting bridge that they tied the thing with, which it was kind of unsuspecting that they did. And when I see it, that'll be it. I don't really buy guns for aesthetics, so I buy them for what they do most of the time. So I'll see what happens when it comes out. But that's something that a lot of people in the community were asking, would they ever make a bullpup? And they finally have done it.
Oh yeah, that was a question on SCL one time. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, people asked about it. So that was that. The other thing was the ordnance cargo holder. This one was something that we had seen images of before, but we hadn't seen it implemented. These dedicated storage frames for missiles, torpedoes, and bombs placed on cargo grids to improve presentation and handling. Basically, the racks and stuff, right? These are the expanded ones even more, because you've seen some people where they just kind of lay all the torps and stuff. They're just laying on the ground and that's it. You know, these are going to be more literally cargo racks that can be moved or rolled or whatever they can be, I guess. What were you going to say?
There was a sneak peek from a while ago. They had the wall and like a stand. It looked like you could put weapons on it. Do you ever figure out what that sneak peek was for? You don't remember what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, you talking about that one that we were talking about for weapons and stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
That was, I mean, based on the scale that they showed, that looked like a wall, like on a work, like a
Oh, so they had to come out yet? That's
hanger
what
wall or
yeah.
something. No. We haven't seen that yet. Yeah, we haven't
Okay.
seen that yet. Yeah, this I think is a little bit more on the bigger side because they're talking about missiles, torps, and bombs that would
Right,
be on
right,
this.
right.
Now there are some other ships that will see this. Like a lot of times, people have seen this for ships like the Polaris and stuff, but there are other ships like the A2 and stuff. And now that they've implemented this thing with the bomb racks, that they're expanding this whole thing for the was it for the Eclipse, the Retaliator, and there were three of them: Eclipse, the Retaliator, and whatever the other bomber is. I'm forgetting.
Gladiator.
The A2. It was the A2.
A2. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, it was the Gladiator. Maybe it was the Gladiator. You
I don't
guys
know.
remember what the other
I
one was?
definitely
I
guessing.
forget.
Probably was the A2.
It might have been the Gladiator. I don't remember. I think it was the Gladiator, wasn't it? Because I kept thinking to myself, "Ooh, they did it for the Gladiator." Or am I dreaming
The
now?
Gladiator is one of the oldest ships, so maybe it was.
Yeah, but anyway, they came up. I'm saying they're expanding that whole dynamic of ordnance, is all I'm saying. And so now these racks are coming in, these holders, cargo holders. And this is also good for when people want to move things from hangars and elevators a little bit more. Togi says it was the Gladius. Okay, so it was the Gladius.
Yeah.
Okay. And then last but not least, there was some more new hairstyles. We've been commenting like almost every one of these patches. We get more hairstyles. CIG said there was going to be hairstyles always coming, and once again the hairstyle people are still delivering.
Yeah, I'll put the link in the chat for people to look at.
Yeah, there's only two this time. They say implementing 2 new hairstyles along with an update to one of the hairstyles to bring it up to current quality standards. So there's plenty. Last week I actually did some tweaking to one of my alternate people. I said, let me check the hairstyles out, and it was like, holy smoke! There was this, I mean, the amount of hairstyles just expanded. You know what I mean? And so it was kind of cool. It's getting there. It's quite a variety that are there.
It's funny. There's this guy who likes to compare how different games do people of color and when it comes to character creation. So and he was impressed with Star Citizen character creator. So yeah, it's pretty up there.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, that's what we've got coming up for 4.9 thus far that we know about. We'll see if anything else pops into it. But for now, that's what's on the list. I think all those things are set as tentative. And we're talking about July. So just a couple weeks. Well, not a couple weeks. We're about, 3 weeks away, maybe? I think it's about mid-July, I think the date was.
Mid-July. So maybe 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, 3 or 4 weeks away. So they still got some time to finish ironing out the rest of what we got going on in this particular patch. And then we'll move toward that one.
Would be funny if they drop it before July 4th, but probably not.
Oh yeah, really. That would be something. Next up, there was a Q&A for the T-Louie. And CIG had this whole thing when they put out the sneak peek, the float, spin, all that stuff, whatever it was. But float, spin, and wind through the space aboard the first alien design snub carrier in the verse. The Gatak to Tiuli brings Xi'an technical engineering principles to a hull unlike anything human shipbuilders have conceived, anchored by zero gravity hangar. A zero gravity hangar, a spectacular original in every sense. We asked the team a few questions about the Tiuli and what it means to operate one, and here are the answers straight from the devs themselves. Now, we're not going to go through all these questions because there's a ton of them here, but Fastcart and I have gone through them, and I want to present some stuff to you that has been a question about certain ships that CIG has been producing, and it is the fact that there are some people who feel that when these variants come out or these spin-offs, CIG may say it's not a variant, it's a different ship. and then there's times when they're still like, well, here's the ship, but it's, there's some differences in it, so it's not a variant. Whatever the case may be. My question to you is, how do you feel about that? I mean, whether you call it a variant or not, the real issue comes down to the fact that a lot of times people want to be able to transfer paints, right? If they want to be able to use the same paint on their Tiuli that they're using on their Raylan. How are you feeling about that? Are you kind of like they're distinctive enough that, yeah, I get why the paints are different? Or do you feel like,
It depends on the ship. For the T. Louis and the Whalen specifically, I think they're distinctive. For I can't think of the other examples for like.
well, like what about like the Raven and the Firebird?
Nah, I don't think those are distinctive enough, especially when they're that small. Yeah, for something like a medium size and larger, we could probably get away with it easier. But for something like a shape or a single fighter, I would call that a one. But that's
Okay.
me.
Oh wow, Dead Frag. Oh wow, thank you for the raid, Dead
Thank
Frag
you
with
for the
41
raid.
raiders. Thank you so much. Welcome, Raiders, to the Soul Citizens. We are doing our Star Citizen this week, and we hope you guys had a great time over with Dead Frag. Dead Frag, hope your stream went well. Hope you had a good weekend this weekend. I don't know if you're in the States or not, but if you are, hope you had a good Father's Day. May not be a father, but still. But if not, again, we hope you had a great weekend and hope you had a great stream. Thanks for sending your folks over. We'll try to take good care of them. So let me ask you this. If the Kraken came out and there's a Kraken and a Kraken Privateer, should the paints match? Should you be able to swap the paints?
Ooh. See, I'm not familiar with the privateer or the Kraken. I mean,
The physical design, as far as I know, is almost identical.
almost
It's the
identical.
interior
Yeah,
design is different.
if it's exterior, I would say they should be the same, but we'll see. I have to see about that one. Yeah, but that one, ooh, that's a tough one. That's a good one. Yeah, I would say those are the same. But that's
Oh my
me.
God.
Wow.
Expat Brad. Oh my God. Thank you for sending your folks over. 143 Raiders.
And
Thank you.
Expat Brad, I
appreciate that.
apologies. I would give you a shout out, but I just gave you I gave a shout out to our previous raider, so I had to wait 5 minutes before I give you that. But I would give you a shout out as soon as I'm able to.
We'll make sure to give you a shout out. I got to meet Expat when we were over in Manchester. She was hanging out with who was over there? Algrid, Execute. We were all at the table together, and I got a big hug from her, and we got a chance to talk. And it was so cool because it's one of those situations, Fastcart, when the voice hits you. Because of course we didn't know what she looked like, right? We just see the
Right.
animation. So as soon as I heard her
Okay.
voice, I'm like, oh my God. It was just so cool. Like
I was like,
yes,
I was like that for Rage Guy. I met him in L.A. and
Oh yeah.
and he was talking to me and I'm like something was hitting me but I couldn't figure out what it was. It said, "Oh, I'm Ray." I'm like, "Oh, you're a Rage Guy."
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah,
that's
something like
cool.
that. Y'all know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. Well, Expat, hope you had a great stream, and thank you for sending your folks over. We'll try and take good care of them. Hopefully, they'll enjoy the time that they're here. We are just going over this Star Citizen in this week. In less than 30 minutes, we're going to be going into our topic for this week, which I hope you guys will be able to stick around for. Hopefully, you'll enjoy. But we were just talking about I was just challenging Fastcard about some questions about paints and when ships are variant, are they different enough that you should sell two different paints, or are they so
All right.
similar that CIG should offer the paints to be together? What are you gonna say?
I do have one issue though, because
Okay.
the paint for the skin for the Raylan are $13. I'm fine with that, but the skin for the T. Louis is $16, and it's basically almost the same slip. I'm not sure. I mean, a $3 difference. I would make it $1 or $2, but $3 kind of stressing it. But hey, I didn't get any because I don't own the T. Louis. But yeah, I see how people might have some feelings about that,
Yeah. Which one costs
especially if
more?
you want both.
Which one costs
The T.
more?
Louis.
That's
The
why
T.
it costs
Louis.
more.
I know, but $3 though, three whole
I'm just
dollars.
being funny. I'm just being funny. That's why. If the ship costs more, the paint costs more. That's all I'm saying. Yeah,
Oh
that
man,
is
that'd be like
interesting.
so. Imagine the Kraken and Kraken privateer.
Well, yeah, you never know. I honestly, I didn't even know that was a thing. I haven't even looked at the paint prices on those ships yet. But yeah, I don't know. I know I understand. The Yeah, it would be great if they did it, but I also understand that, one of the things that's interesting
Oh,
about, yeah,
the Kraken Privateer should have the same paint because they're both named Kraken. So they don't
no,
have distinctive names.
no, no, I don't think
You're
that's
not gonna
gonna
buy
work.
that for a
I
dollar.
don't think I
You don't
don't
buy
think
that
that's
for a
gonna
dollar.
work. No, I don't think that's gonna work. I personally, I think the Kraken will have the same paint for those because the design external, at least unless as far as we know of, the design externally isn't that much, but who knows? I understand both sides of it. I think that, yeah, for us, we would say, yeah, it'd be really great because obviously it's convenient to buy one paint and you can use it for multiple things, right? But the other side of the coin is that I'm sure that their analytics and marketing say that they're going to make money doing that. Just like we didn't like the bundle thing. Remember, we said we'd rather that they sell stuff individually, but they sell it as a
Individually.
bundle. And
Right.
evidently the bundles sell, irregardless. I would love for them to break that stuff up and sell it single. I feel like they'd sell more stuff even, but there have been things I've said no to just because I only one out of three things I wanted. But I bet you there's somebody
Exactly.
else out there who buys it. So it's an interesting
And
thing when
and
it comes to these pricings.
and I said it before. I bought a bundle one time. It's for the Aries, and and like after a few months, I melted it because I don't.
Hmm.
You didn't get as much use from it as I expected. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Now, have you been on the Tai Louis? T Louis? Have you been on it?
no, I have not. I have not.
Really? You haven't gone on it yet. You got
No,
to
not
go on
yet.
it. You got to check it out.
Okay. Yeah.
It's an
Yeah,
interesting ship.
that whole running around thing. Yeah, it does
Well,
look like a trip.
yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, the cockpit design is the same. Um, the living area is, I think, the same as well. Where the dining area and stuff is, I think all of that is the same. But they do some changes on the lower deck, and when you go into that area you're talking about, the docking area, that is definitely a completely different thing when you go in there.
Right.
There also, if I'm not mistaken, there is no docking collar on the back of the ship, where there is a docking collar on the railing. And somebody correct me if
Right.
I'm wrong, because I was trying to, there's a door there but there's no button, and I thought, well, maybe it was me, and I don't know, but I got the impression that there is no docking collar on the back of the Tului. But if there is, then please let me know, because I maybe it's just that the button wasn't there. But I looked all over for a button for it. Um, yeah, I would tell you to just go see what it's like. It's interesting. I got a chance to dock a ship in it to see what it was like to dock in it, and I thought it was going to be restrictive space wise, but it wasn't. I took a Fury in, landed it without a problem, took off out of it without a problem. But it's definitely one of those ships you want to be coordinated with people on. So we'll see. Yeah, now yeah, I will say this about that trailer. Almost I actually laughed at that, and I didn't laugh at
I did
the
too.
I didn't laugh at the arm going in. I laughed at the reaction of the guy at the table when the arm went in, and he's looking like, what the, that was really what made me laugh more than anything. But yeah, anyway, that's the Tului. It's a new alien ship that has entered.
Yeah,
Fastcart,
I'm
one other
looking.
question before we move on. See, they didn't hint, they implied that CIG needs to make an alien snub. Do you think that they're going to do that to complement this ship?
I would not be surprised if they do. I'm saying 60-40 that they will, because
Do you
that
think
reaction that they give
do
made me hopeful. But yeah.
do you think that them, if they had done that with this ship when it launched, like when they did the Drake Ironclad and they did those pit bulls, do you think it
Hmm.
would have been kind of cool if they had done an alien snub to match this
Of
ship?
course, yeah, of course it would have been cool, but I can understand they didn't have any time to do everything like that. But yeah, I think it would have been cool. Because, I mean, that might have been an example of doing too many things before one patch, but
Yeah,
we'll never know.
yeah.
I
I
was
mean, the
gonna say
fact
that
that, mhm, go ahead, go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say I'm looking at the gallery for the T. Louis now, and
Mhm,
I've noticed that they have different holograms compared to the holograms that are in the Wayland, so I think that's pretty cool.
mhm. Yeah, yep. Okay, all right. Let's move it on now. What we got next to talk about? Oh, the Star Citizen Live Tech Talk. I actually forgot that this was part of our thing tonight. Um, this was long time coming, even though it wasn't necessarily the show that we thought it was going to be about. Earlier this year, we guys know that CIG, that not Tyler, Jarrett has been doing these extended interviews with Benoit Beausejour from the Montreal studio, where they really spend a really good amount of time talking about development, and usually it's in relation to where the current state of the game is. And earlier this year, when they had the second one of the ones they did, there was this thing of we're going to get Benoit to come back and talk about some stuff. And but as 4.8, 4.8.1 in particular, really started to just go really bad as far as gameplay and stuff. They saw this as an opportunity to say, let's get Benoit in here and have him talk about this. And so Ben came on, also along with I think his name is Jen. Yeah, Jens Lin, and he's the chief technology officer. And they spent a little over 2 hours talking about the current state of the game, and also talking about what they want to do to make things better and to fix things. So FC, I'll let you jump in. You give me some thoughts on this show. Anything that stood out for you? Questions, whatever.
I watched it, I want to say twice. And the thing that stood out for me was the frustration from Jared Huckabee and the reaction to people who were reacting to his reaction, so his frustration. It played the gamut between, oh, he's acting, he's overacting, or he's just like us. Most people, the comments I got from I've read seem to state that he's like overacting, but for me, it seems genuine that he's frustrated as well as we are. So that stood out to me.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and the other thing is like he did give a lot of information, almost too much information for me to process at the time. This is one of the few times I didn't take notes because there's a lot of stuff, but um, they're working on it. And the Idris is what could cause the problem, and they're working on it. And there's a patch with Thursday or Friday, and there's still some issues, but is it better or it seems to be a little bit better, but I can't really judge.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I'm going to ask that you guys don't do any personalizing of people in the chat, please, because we don't do that. So I know everybody has certain ways they feel about folks, but we don't want to do that here with the staff of CIG. It's just not something that we do. So let's kind of keep it. You can complain, but let's not make it personal on folk. I think that to your point, there is this sensing of how do you walk the line as a community manager, and I think community managers have tough jobs because you're supposed to be representing the community and hearing the community, but you also have an employer rather, that you work for, and you represent the company as well. And it's not a job that I would like doing. And I think there's always a tightrope of people that are going to feel that either the person is a shill for the company, right? I don't think I think that there are some people who may cheer and say, I'm glad he asked those questions because those are the same questions I asked. And I will say this, at least he asked the questions and he put it out there. I don't know what people want Jared to do, right? I
Right.
mean, what do you
And
want Jared to do? Now, I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying there are opportunities for we as backers to do the exact same thing Jared did, which is to go to the events, to go to a Bar Citizen and talk to devs and find out stuff, right? A lot of people try to get stuff through Spectrum and stuff, and I understand that that's not always something that happens. That you get a response or an answer, and there's a feeling that a lot of times CIG is not listening, which is what our show is about today. In fact, that's what our second half of our show is about, is talking about the negatives of this. But I was glad that he did push a bit on this stuff, because to sit and ask, I mean, let's face it, Benoit is not his equal. Benoit is over him.
right.
You know what I'm saying? He's not
Yeah.
below Jared. He's above him. And when he pushed for answers of why is this happening? What's the problem? Why does this keep happening? I was also little things that were said. The fact that Benoit talked about the fact that he said my ship is doing blah 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 blah, because there are people who say they don't play the game, right? They're not, the devs. We don't think the devs ever play the game, and I know somebody was saying, I think it was Escape was saying earlier that there are people who say that there's a lot of young devs. That always seems to be a thing about inexperienced devs,
Oh, okay.
right? There's
Mm-hmm.
also a tremendous amount of people that work there who are experienced. If you ever go and look up the names and the resumes of some of these people and you see the different backgrounds where they've been working 7 and 10 years in development and worked at various other companies and come over to CIG, you're going to have some new people. Everybody's not going to be a veteran, right? But there is a tremendous amount of people who have been at that company for a very long time. And
And I
interestingly
don't.
enough, let me say this. Interestingly enough, Benoit is coding. He's up doing coding. You know what I'm saying? It's not like his people under him and he's not even doing that work. He himself is even doing that work. What were you going to say?
For your last thing, it said they did a video a while ago saying that they're recruiting directly from universities over in Europe. So that's where they get the
Some of the
new
talent.
developers, some of the
Yeah.
talent, new talent.
Well, that
Now
makes
we're
sense
gonna
because
also.
it's difficult to get people from over here because people have to relocate. That only
Right.
would make sense if you're going to get your
Mhm.
talent, because that was one of the reasons why some people did not come over, is because they'd have to relocate to the main company, right? So
And
that's
the
just understandable.
other
You
thing I
got
want to
that.
say is, you mentioned what do you want Jared to do. If you ask 100 people what do you want Jared to do, you get 100 different answers. So even if you do ask people, you won't be able to please everyone anyway. So
Yeah. I mean,
darn
what's
if you
going to be
do, darn if you don't.
satisfactory? I mean, what's going to be satisfactory is my point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And there's always going to be some people who feels like, yeah, he asked it. There's going to be some people who say he hasn't asked enough. It's just always going to be that
Mm-hmm.
way. That's why I said it's a tough spot to be in as a community manager. But there were some hard questions to answer, and Benoit was willing to answer. Jen was willing to answer some questions. We may not like the answers. We may not like the answers, but that's what happened. It was 2.5 hours. I had to watch it like 3 sessions to go through it, just to take, because there's just a lot of information that's being taken in. And their big thing was, yes, all talk, but there needs to be action, and that's always the case, right? I mean, that's always the case. People, backers, want to see some type of something come out of this, not just explanations, but they want to see the fact that there's some changes that take place. Now, right away, that same day, some patches went out, a hot fix went out that night, and did address several of the issues. And I think there are even more issues that have gotten addressed over this weekend. And I know there's been some stuff that some content creators have gone and tested. I did some testing this weekend, and some stuff worked that wasn't working before. So it's getting there, right? But I just felt like 4.8 there was just too much stuff dumped in that one for me. And I know a
Let
lot
me
of
ask
people
you a
say, oh,
question.
it's 318. I don't think it was anything like 318.
I don't think
Yeah.
it was 318. I think that's
Yeah.
how overstated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you satisfied with Benoit's responses? Or how did you feel about him?
Yeah. I mean, one of the problems I have is that I always have the question of not just why is something not working, but why is it not working in relation to what, right? Like, remember, like last week we were talking about elevators. Elevators are not a new thing in a game, right? So why are our elevators the way they are? Why has that problem been in existence for forever? Why is, it's not due to bad coding. You know what I'm saying? It's not something like
I,
that. There's something that CIG wants physical. Now, some people will say, oh, well, Chris Roberts just wants some cool elevators that move. Well, if that's all it is, then that is kind of crazy, right? But I don't think that's the case, because it seems like there's a synchronicity to everything that's in this game. Something makes reasons for later, but we just don't know what those reasons are.
for,
Now, if it is only out of just cool factor, I don't agree with that. But if there's some other underlying reason in game development that we haven't gotten to yet that says that that's what you need in order for that to happen, then okay. It's
From my
something to study.
understanding, it's because the elevators and ATC are some legacy code, and it's one of some of the older systems that's been in the game, and it's still trying to revamp it and make it up to date to fit
But no,
the
but my
current
point is,
game.
elevators have always been a problem. They've always been a problem. There was never a time when elevators were 100% working all the time. They've
Okay.
always been a problem, right? And they've
Mm-hmm.
gotten better. Don't get me wrong. I mean, for me, I don't get the elevator problem a lot of people have, and I don't know why that is. I'm not bragging by any means. I think that there's something going on. I don't know if it's LOD stuff. I don't know if it's internet speeds or what, but I hear people talk about elevators all the time, and I get elevator instances once every freaking blue moon. I mean, literally blue moon. And there are other people that same thing. They don't have the problem other people do, but that's not just in relation to this. That's about a lot of things in Star Citizen. Why do some people have a problem with falling through something and other people don't? I don't know what the answer is. I know it's a problem though.
Oh,
Yeah.
Derek mentioned that there's a good post on Spectral workarounds, but they don't have the link handy. But yeah, that was a good post. I don't have the link handy myself, but yeah,
Okay.
if you can find out, you can put it back in our
Well,
Discord. Appreciate it.
if we find it, that's great. We'll try to post it in. But let me say this. This is something that I think Benoit said. He said workarounds are great, but you shouldn't have to do it. You know,
Right.
they want
We
the
all
game to
agree
be in a
with that.
place where you shouldn't have to do. You shouldn't have to be a veteran that knows all 89 versions of how to start your ship. You know what I mean? People should be able to come into the game and just the ship should start. And they say that's what they want to work on. So we'll see. We'll see where that direction goes. Okay. Anything else you want to say about that show?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. All right, cool. All right. Oh, forgot about this. The Squadron 42 content creator invite. And I should correct that because that's actually what the title of it. That's kind of what it said. But some of you all know that on what day was that? Friday? Friday?
Thursday, Friday,
Invitations went
Friday.
out. It
Yeah.
was Friday. Yeah, I'll read it. So I could just read the thing. Jeez. This was on Friday. You're invited to join us for an exclusive 3-day event at our Manchester studio on Friday, October 9th through Sunday, October 11th, 2026. For those who held the line, it feels only fitting that you are among the first to experience what's to come next. Throughout the weekend, you will have the opportunity to spend time with the development team, tour our Manchester studio, and participate in the first hands-on experience with Squadron 42. Additional details regarding the weekend's activities will be shared closer to the event. Please note that the travel and accommodations are at your own expense, though we do plan to provide information on discounted hotel options nearby. As this will be a private event with limited capacity, please RSVP by Monday, June 29th. If we do not receive a response by this date, your invitation will be offered to another member of the community. We look forward to sharing more soon. So this went out in an email to, it wasn't just content creators, because my understanding is that there were also just regular backers that also
Yeah,
received
I
this.
was gonna say the title that they put in is an invitation from Cloud Imperium Games. So
Yes.
a lot of people interpret that to be content created, but that's not how they phrased it.
And that's because content creators have the ability to say it where regular people didn't, right? Because they go on their stream and
Right.
mention it. Okay. So we don't know. We haven't heard any word like how many invites went out or anything, what the criteria was or
How many people are
anything.
expecting?
Yeah, we just have no idea. The most that we heard about the dates of October was that there would not be a Citizen Con. Um, there have been times when CIG has done exclusive events. They have not done an exclusive event in years. I think was it 2017 was the last one that they did.
That
When
sounds right.
they did that one because that's when they showed people the Nautilus.
Yeah, Nautilus.
Excuse me. Um, that was the last time I knew that they did an exclusive. And when they did that one, that was like a luncheon meet and greet thing. It was like a 1-day thing at the LA studio.
Right.
And like that, people had to fly there and all that other stuff to be there. And they just kind of spent the day at the studio and ate lunch with the devs and got a tour. I think that was pretty much all that came out of that one. This one, though, is a 3-day event, a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday, which is similar to the same time frame of a Citizen Con. So not really sure because there's not a lot of detail about this. People that do decide to go, this is not paid, so there's no, you know, was it backer money or anything going in to, pay for these folks to get there. But I don't know, Fast Card, you got any thoughts about what this is in relation to a lot of stuff that we've seen happening with CIG with marketing recently? The Variety article, leak information, question of whether or not Squadron's a 2026, 2027 thing, or is this just a way of, how do you think people even are perceiving this, like this out of the nowhere kind of exclusive event?
CIG told us there'd be a short campaign for advertising for Squadron 42 before
Mhm.
Squadron 42 I'm paraphrasing. I'm my understanding before Squadron 42 releases. I think this is part of that campaign. Whether or not they release it in October or that's the date that they're going to announce the release date, I'm not sure. A lot of people are speculating this is like we're going to be able to play a demo, but 3 days for one demo, that seems like
It's overkill.
that doesn't seem right to me. So yeah, I expect it to be more than just that, if that is in fact included. So it'll be interesting. I'm wondering whether or not they will stream it, because it doesn't seem like. I mean, from what the impression I'm getting from this one email, it doesn't seem like it's something that they'll stream. But hopefully, I'm wrong about that, because I think people would like to see what's going on.
Yeah.
If they can't
I
make
hope.
it.
Yeah, I hope it's something that's live streamed. I hope whatever it is that's shown to the people that attend this, that it's also something that the community abroad can see as well. And I do. It is Squadron 42. At least they do tell us that, right? It's got to do with Squadron
They call it
42.
Squad 42.
So
They got the
it's-
whole logo and everything at the
Right.
top.
So it's
yeah.
right. So it is about Squadron 42. So we shall see. We shall see. As time ticks by, as more information comes out, if we hear stuff, we will. I'm sure whatever we hear, you guys will hear it too, because the word is out about this. So, okay. And last but not least, my friend, the sneak peek for this week. This is not the work of a cook. I watched a live stream. Where the streamers did not get what this line came from.
Oh,
and I'm
really?
like, I'm like, okay, I'm getting
How
too
young
old.
were they?
I'm getting too
How young
old.
were they?
They were not that young. Once somebody in their chat said it, they caught it and they knew exactly where it came from. But I was surprised that they did not catch this. You know who it was? I'll tell you who it was. It was Grim and Execute.
Really? They didn't get it?
They did not catch it.
Wow.
They did not catch it.
Like, my question is, which of the three-word title movie was it from? Because I know who it was from, but I can't remember.
Oh, it was
from
from Under Siege.
Under Siege. Okay.
Well, that's the
right,
premise.
right.
That's the premise of it. Is that
Right,
this
right,
is not
right,
the word
right.
right? That's where it comes from, right? Under Siege, yeah. So as you guys know, the Siege of Orison has been, they've been talking about that's going to be coming out. So that's the next thing that this is leading on to. And those of you who remember Siege of Orison, you kind of remember with these scenes of what we're seeing here. And a lot of people are anticipating this coming back. Now, the big thing about this fast card is CIG is implementing instancing. That's one of the big things with this, right? I had said that I hope that when they do this, that they'll create two worlds like they did with the Nyx thing, where there's like the PvP, if you want to go there, right? And the rewards are higher stakes, or you can go to the PvE or the instance one, right? Where there's some good rewards there, but just maybe you don't get like some really, really, really cool stuff there. And then people can choose whichever one they want to do. And a lot of times when people will do an instance and they get comfortable, they'll go do a PvP area, right? Because once they've gotten comfortable with it, right? And vice versa. Sometimes people will want to do the instances, even if they're into PvP, but if they're going in with their friends, I think the big difference in this is also going to be, let's see how challenging and on point the AI are. Because if the AI are good and challenging in there for the PvE, or not the PvE, but for the instancing, then that's going to make it good. And that'll make it good for the PvP side either, if they do that, if they do an open area for PvP. But I don't know. Did you ever do Siege of Orison? Did you ever go in?
No, I watched you guys do it. I didn't participate myself, but
Okay.
yeah. Y'all seem to have fun. With the
It was
bugs and
fun.
everything, and falling out of the shuttle.
Oh God, yeah, the first time we went over, oh, everybody missed it and jumped out and fell. Oh God, missed jumping in.
It was like a bunch of lemmings.
It was terrible. I was I was the guy who got in. I made it. Everybody else went off the edge. But I will say this, it was one of the best times I had, because when we played it, the one time we went in, we played it and everything went well. I remember this because Captain Jones was with us. We had to crash into the final last area, and serious fun. When we left, we were limping back to our ship. Literally, we were limping. Everybody was jacked up, but it was a lot of fun. I think we lost one person out of our party. Everybody else made it, and it took a lot of work. But so I'm kind of looking forward to this one coming back again, because this was a lot of fun when we did this. So, okay, well, that is it for our Star Citizen this week section. When we come back, we're going to take a 1-minute commercial and then a 4-minute break. And when we come back, we are going to talk about our topic for this week. And the topic for this week is community content. But it's not content, it's actually content, like discontent and content. Are you content or are you discontent? So that's what we're going to be talking about this week. So hopefully you guys, and by the way, it is our open mic. So if you want to come in and talk about what we're talking about in this topic, this will be a great opportunity for you to come and express yourself. And so we're going to be doing that as well. So give us just a minute, like I said, for a commercial. And then after that, about 4 minutes, if you want to get something to drink, some snacks, and come back and join us, you will be more than welcome to do that. So we will see you guys in just a minute. See you soon. Hello, hello, hello. If you are watching us, then that means you are one of our supporters, subscribers, and we want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here today with us. We truly appreciate you as always. We are in June. We're halfway through the year. Oh my God, time is flying by. FC, anything you want to tell folks before we get ready to go to our next half?
Thank you for joining us. Hope you're having fun watching the show, and thank you for being lively in chat. We have like 120 people in watching us on Twitch. Quite a few people on YouTube as well. So thank you all for participating and watching. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right. Well, we will be back in just a hot second. So stick around. We'll see you in a few minutes. Thanks.
On and on across the stars we fly, soul citizens, bringing us that endless sky. We each build up what we want to be, but together we're making history. On and on, on and on, on and on, on and on. To be, but together we're making history. On and on, 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 on and on, and all across the endless night, our soul citizens burn ever bright. And endless night, our soul citizens burn ever bright. On and on across the stars we fly, soul citizens bringing us that endless sky. We each build up what we want to be, but together we're making history. On and on, on and on. Citizens burn ever bright, and all last night, our soul citizens forever bright. Abdi Johan, Captain Jones, fastcart FC, GoMab ATL, GriffinGamingRPG, Jade Star Watcher, Karate, Colossal, Serious Fun, Summer Geo, Unique, Yo-Yo Man!
Hey there, welcome back to the Soul Citizens. I'm Griffin Gaming RPG, and I'm joined with my good friend and co-producer, Fastcart FC. How are you, my friend? You're muted.
I'm doing well, thank you. The music caught me off guard because it was going in and out. I was typing a message and screen rubber just now saying that the music was going out, so I couldn't time myself when we were going live.
Oh, that's weird. I'm sorry. I hope it wasn't happening out there for everybody else. Okay.
No, I
Well,
checked on Twitch and YouTube. Well, hopefully, it was just me, but I don't think it is. But we'll see.
okay. Wow. I'm sorry, guys, if the audio is doing something dumb. Okay. Well, listen, once again, thank you guys for being here with us for our second half of our show. And yeah, this week we're talking about community content. And we're going to kind of open this up with laying some foundational stuff together that, kind of gives us a place to start. And then as we go, we're going to invite you guys, if you guys want to come in and share your thoughts about the things that we're talking about, then that'll be it. But just let's get through this very first beginning under the vision section. And then once we get into the dream, and after that, you guys can feel free to jump in. And if there's something that you want to say, there is a link that's popping up in chat from time to time. When that comes up, you can click on that. It puts you in a queue into our green room, and Fastcart will bring you in, and you'll be able to come in and share your thoughts with us, because we'd love to hear what you guys have to say, because this is really about the community, today's show. So that is that. Okay, FC, are you all set? Got your
I'm putting
notes
the link
together?
in. I'm putting in the yep.
Okay. All right. There's the Discord chat link right there. So those of you who want to join us, over the past several months, I'm going to say several months, because I don't want to say it's been a full year, but I would say for the past several months, since fall of last year, probably, I had been seeing more and more videos, more stuff coming up that showed the sentiment of the community, of some people being disappointed, frustrated, angry, discombobulated.
Using big words.
Yeah, just a lot of stuff. And then once we got to 4.8, I really saw it really explode with a lot of the content creators. And some of these content creators, particularly many of the content creators, are creators who've been around for a long time. They've been streaming quite a while. I didn't see it a lot with the new content creators, but a lot of the older ones who've been streaming for, when I say a while, I'm saying they've been streaming like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, right? And it was a lot of things with like frustration with CIG, frustration with patches. And I think I shared this last week. I'm really kind of sensitive about when people talk about the state of the game when they're content creators. Now, I'm not saying content creators cannot be objective, Fastcart, not by any means. But I listen more to the backers, the regular people who play the game all the time, about how they feel the state of the game is. Because it's difficult to separate, for me, when a content creator who depends on the game to be playable, stable, relatively playable, relatively stable, and when it's not, it affects them. whether if especially if they're streaming frequently, if they're streaming gameplay, if they're streaming, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, and they're putting out content, that game stability and playability is really important to them. And we've all learned to figure out workarounds and everything else, but when the workarounds don't work anymore, or when you can't log in, or when all of your inventory is gone, it to me can be a very difficult thing to separate the content creator from the player. The player can say, I'll be back in 2 weeks, or I'll come back when the next patch comes out, right? Fastcart. The content creator has a schedule that says they're going to be on tomorrow, right? Or they're going to be on
or they're streaming this game, the physical streaming Star Citizen on this day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're going to be on Wednesday. That's what I'm saying. They're streaming, right? Or they've set up something with their org to do a big thing, right? You know what I'm saying? So they don't have that luxury of saying, I'll come back when the patch is ready, right? Unless they're just super casual, right? Okay, but if they're really trying to build their audience and all this other stuff, that can be a lot. Okay, so
you already have someone in the green room.
Well, that's cool. Okay, good. So yeah, and we haven't gotten to the thing yet, Pop. So sit tight because we haven't got to the part where y'all gonna be talking about stuff. But if you can stay there though, feel free to stay there. So these titles you're seeing on the screen are just shots I took over the last week. This is just over the last week. Okay. If I went back, I could do pages and pages.
Yeah, I gotta say.
Okay?
I was wondering how far back you went.
No, I went back a week. Okay, this stuff is a week old at the most. Okay, that's up there right now. Okay, and it expresses from content creators. One person saying, "Is Star Citizen dying? I'm done." The next one is this just a phase? 4.8. Will it get fixed? Right. I'm locked out. Right. What happened to 4.8? Exclamation point incoming. Can't effing play, right? Star Citizen catch up, the yappening. $1 billion later, right? And then the road to recovery. We got all these different things to draw our attention in, see what folks have to say, see how people are feeling. Okay.
I mean, back in 2016, 2017, I would see content creators, especially Twitch content creators, they would try to stream Star Citizen as their main game, but then most of them, if not all of them, became variety streamers because it was something they had to do because of stuff that's happening in the game. So, I mean, I don't know if people coming in saying it'll be different for them, or if they don't know what's happening, or the game is still in alpha or what have you. So that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think also for streamers back in the day, game streaming has grown, right, since 2016 too, right? And the amount of people who stream, like back in the day, we could have almost named most of the people that were streaming this game, and now you can't. I was looking the other day, like at 2:00 in the afternoon, and there were like 40, 50 people streaming Star Citizen, and probably out of those, no, I'm not exaggerating, out of that 40 or 50 people, I may have known 5 of those names. All the other names are people I didn't know, right? So there's more people streaming, more people interested in playing the game, even in spite of the state of the game. You've got all this stuff going on, okay? So what we want to do is go back to, like I said in the beginning, we want to read this background to you guys, and then we're going to, like I said, open this up for you guys to start talking to us. It says the vision of Star Citizen is to create. Now this is what the vision was supposed to be. It was to create a living, breathing, seamless science fiction MMO where thousands of players share a unified universe. Led by Chris Roberts, the goal is to build an immersive first-person space simulation that ditches loading screens in favor of true-to-life scale and player-driven economies. Fastcart, are you in agreement with most of that or all of that?
Yeah,
okay.
I don't see an issue. Yeah.
Okay, you don't see an issue, then it's Fastcart approved. Okay, so let's talk about the key pillars of that vision. Okay, one, and this is going back to original visions of that. Listen, I cannot publish everything that CIG has ever said. We'd be here all day, so I'm trying to find just
we'd be here a week.
A week, right? So I'm just trying to get the core stuff here, guys, so that we have a place to start. Okay, the key pillars of the vision are the seamless universe. Players can walk through a detailed city, board their multi-crew spaceship, take off into atmosphere, enter orbit, jump to another star system entirely, all without a single loading screen. Dual experiences. The project encompasses 2 major titles, Star Citizen, the persistent MMO sandbox, and Squadron 42, a cinematic, story-driven, single-player campaign featuring elite military forces. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
Okay. Got your approval
That's
again.
fast card approved.
Okay, fast card approved. All right. True to life simulation. The design emphasizes physicalized mechanics. Ships have actual interiors, and systems require real-time engineering, repairs, and resource management. There are also plans for a robust medical consequences system to make survival meaningful. Player-driven roles. Rather than being locked into a single class, players can organically switch between careers like cargo hauling, asteroid mining, deep space salvage, bounty hunting, and piracy. How do you feel about those?
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Now, we know that all that stuff ain't running completely, y'all. We get it.
Not completely, but
It's about the vision.
They even said there are also plans for a robust medical. So yeah,
Right.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
But
If it said if they didn't have that qualifier in there, I might have said something.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yes, that's the vision. That's all we're saying is the vision. Okay. All right. So let's get into this part here, and this is when you guys can come in and start talking to us at this point. So the dream, and I want to deal with this aspect of if that's the vision. What are players' dreams? And Fast Card, let me ask you before we bring Pops in. Do you have a dream about Star Citizen based on what you've been told, what you've heard, blah blah blah? What is if you were to say this is my dream? When I get into Star Citizen, I want to do blah 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 blah. What would you say?
Yeah, I'm going to try not to imitate Martin Luther King when you said that. But my dream is to become a marketeer, to use my better mission to sell stuff, and to use my endeavor to manufacture or modify different components, and then use that to sell them on my better mission. My dream is also to participate in some PvE aspect of the game, running missions, and especially like using FA Lightning or some other solo ship. Do some exploration, maybe not too much, maybe not. I don't have a dedicated exploration ship, but I'll hop on someone else's ship and do some exploration that way. Also, I plan to do some racing. I have a Razor at the moment, but that may change when the game is actually out, or I may buy multiple racing vehicles to shoot whatever track or situation that I'm using it for.
Okay, all right. So you've got 4 kind of things that you would like to play around in the verse with. Okay, all right. Let's bring Pops in. Let's see what Pops is going to say here. Hey, Pops, how are you?
Okay, I'm fine.
Good. Thanks for coming in.
All right. Happy Father's Day to everyone out there.
Happy Father's Day to you.
Same to you.
Yeah, I jumped in too early because I thought this was going to be about content creators because I had a lot to say about it.
Oh, no.
Fooled you.
Yeah, fooled me. Yeah. Okay, but my dream that I really like this game about is that I can do a lot of things. FC and Griff, I was so tired of being a mage and just cast spell 3, 4, 1, then back to 3, 2, 1. You know, get beat up by this troll or whatever. Then there's a overpowered group of people that come in and wipe you out while you're trying to do your dungeon, and I was so tired of that.
Getting ganked.
That word. So, I mean, I was happy to hear that Star Citizen doesn't have any of that other, because I mean, you can go out and buy $1,000 ship, but you have to man the ship. So it's supposedly you're not, take that one ship out and just become king of the universe, because that's what I thought Star Citizen was 15 years ago, until I got more information. And I get the point that it's taking so long from the features that are being put in the game, but we also will always get in the game even after 1.0. So my dream is to enjoy the features that they're going to be coming out with and do a lot of things and not be stuck into one niche.
Okay. So your dream is not to be, like you said, locked in like in previous games, but have flexibility to do these various things that the game is offering, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. And
Okay.
and another thing y'all mentioned, I do want these things like medical, engineering. I want them to have depth. I want science to have depth. I want exploration to have depth to them. You know, all right.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
All right,
Thank
Pops. Thank you for dropping
All right.
in. Appreciate that. Got your dream.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring in Fist to Face next. Hey, Fist.
Hey, gentlemen, how you doing? All
Pretty
right.
good,
So
pretty
my
good.
dream is, and again, just like Pop said, Happy Father's Day, everybody. My dream is I want to ruin your dream.
Okay.
Ready? I want to be a repo man.
Okay.
I want to take that what is it, the MPUV? Right?
You mean the SRV?
The SRV,
SRV,
yes. Sorry about that.
yeah.
I want to take that SRV,
Uh-huh.
and if you don't pay your note, I'm hooking it and booking it with all your stuff on it. Goodbye,
Uh-huh.
Hong Kong.
Okay.
Later.
Okay. All right, you're gonna be a repo man. Now, I mean, and in reality, I hope what I'm hearing you saying is that you're looking to you're looking to salvage, right?
Mm-mm.
Because okay,
Mm-mm.
that's good. If you're telling me that what you're looking for, you looking to repo. Okay, that's
I'm
gonna
looking to
be
repo.
really interesting. All right,
I'm
you're gonna come back later on the show then if that's what you want to do. Okay, so we'll keep that in mind that
Okay.
you want to repo. Okay, all right.
I want to repo.
All right, that's cool. All right, thank you, buddy. Thanks
All
for
right,
dropping
thank you.
in. Okay.
Take care.
All right, let's move on because we're going to get past this dream part because there's going to be some more conversation.
What is
about
your
stuff.
dream?
My dream, okay, mine is, I didn't want to get into it. It's complicated, right? My dream is like there were games that I was looking for that I wanted to be able to go into an immersive world. Like I used to play Second Life, but when I found out there were space games that were immersive, Eve Online was kind of like the thing that I really thought about because it was a different universe. It wasn't built on anything like, Star Wars is built on a franchise, right? Galaxies, right?
Right.
And that's
right.
stepping into the Star Wars world. I wanted to step into a world that was foreign and different and, experience whatever it was. Like the big things I did in Eve is what I do in this game. I wanted to do mining. I did salvaging. Those were the big, and trading. Those were the big things I did in Eve, right? I wasn't into the big battles and all that other stuff, right? So some of that carried over from Eve because Eve unfortunately forced you to be in PvP all the time, most of the time. And I wanted to be able to have a little bit more latitude for that than, just this constant PvP feeling all the time. And PvP doesn't have to always be battle related. It could be just player against player. So for me, the flexibility, of course, the game was offering some things that we hadn't seen in other games, like the first person perspective, the detail, the immersion, and all that stuff. So I'm kind of in line with it at that level. The things that they said that they're going to offer, I try to keep my dream within what I've heard and not get outside of that too much because they haven't said certain things, and it's very easy to think like what I want to do in the game. But if the game mechanic isn't there, I'm going to be disappointed. So that's why I'm kind of focused on those things. Okay.
And real quick to your point, economy is PvP. That's how I feel for
Yes,
me. The economy
exactly.
is PvP. So,
Exactly.
Yeah, not
Yep,
everything's combat.
Exactly. Okay. Let's jump to this one here. And this is when we're going to start getting into stuff that's the reality of where we are. Okay. The backlog. People don't necessarily want a refund. They want their ships. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I'm up to it's 4 ships. Well, no, okay, 3 ships now in my hangar that I'm backlog because the railing just came out. That was one of the ones it was 2017 when the railing was introduced. So that was a long time coming. But yeah, finally have that one. So now there's three other ships that I'm.
Are you?
Two other
Wait.
ships
You said 2017. The railing was introduced.
Am I mistaken? Is it 2019?
I thought it was 2021. I thought it was only 5 years. Am I off
Okay,
that much?
then I'm mistaken. I blame COVID for my time being off. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. All
One
right.
of the
No
other
problem.
ships might have been.
No
Yeah.
problem. So Togi
Yeah.
says he wants a refund. Togi said, "Well, Togi, you should put in. You should put in for one. I mean, seriously, I've told you, if you can put in for one. I would tell them if you really want a refund. I'd tell people to get a refund as long as you got a pretty solid thing. Just come at
Because
them the
he
right
did.
way. Yeah. Oh, you did. Okay. Okay. He said he did. Okay. Um, let's see. So here, let's talk about what some of the opportunities are. These are the ships that I can talk about for sure that are uh, on the backlog. Okay, we've got that one, and now when we say backlog, we're just basically saying ships that have been shown and that are out there that people have paid for, right? This isn't anything new that's coming. These are just the ones that we do know about, and most of these ships, if you have these ships, you've got a what do they call it? A replacement, not a replacement, but a loaner.
Loner.
A loaner for it, right? Some of these ships are fairly new. And when I say fairly new, I'm talking about like less than 5 years. I think the Arastra would fall into that category. The Galaxy would fall into that category. The Misk Starlancer build would fall into that category. The Zeus MR would fall into that category. I don't know about that Crusader E1. That might be just outside of that. But then you get into the mid-length ships. Yeah, the Expanse last 5 years, maybe.
Arastra.
Yeah, I said the Arastra was the first one I said.
Okay.
Right. So then you get into the ships that go like within a range of like 7 years, 7 years, right? And you start getting into a whole nother group of ships. And that can get into ships like maybe the E1, the Legionnaire, the Liberator, the Vulcan. And then you've got the granddaddies, the ones that have been around like since like freaking 2014, 2015, all the way till now. We're talking 12 years, or less. And we're starting talking about like the Javelin, which we know that we've seen in the game, but players don't have it as of yet. The Crucible, the Merchantman, the Pioneer. Those are older ones. The Genesis, those are older ships. And some of these that CIG has talked about before, we've seen them in Gray Box before. But some of them we know they're working on. We know that they're working on. You know what I didn't put up there? How did I not put the privateer, privateer and the Kraken? Yeah, I knew there was something missing, and it just hit me just now. But they're working on the Kraken right now, so we know the Kraken's being worked on, the Galaxy's being worked on.
Galaxy, yeah.
We know the Pioneer is being worked on, and that's it that we know of.
We do have someone in the green room, but they haven't asked a question yet. But,
we do.
So,
okay. Yeah. So, I mean, and we're just at the backlog part. So this, I mean, he can come in on this part of the question we asked before. And let me ask you before he comes in, fastcart, go to you again. Your thoughts about the backlog. I mean, we've been seeing them bring some of the old backlog ships in finally, but there's still a good amount, especially older model ships that are still out there. Still a handful of them that are still out there. What are your feelings about that? Because you said you feel that people do want their ship, not a refund.
Yeah, I want my ship. I don't want a refund. I want my ship. I understand. I've been waiting for the Endeavor since 2015, 11 years now. I'm looking forward to that ship, especially now because with everything that CIG has learned, that should be a great ship. I mean, I don't want to say it better be worth the wait, but it has to be worth the wait because we've been waiting for that ship for a long time. So hopefully they will deliver. Similar for the Messerman, that concepted in 2013, December 2013. So that's almost 13 years now.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question before any further. Do you want the ship or do you want the gameplay first?
That's a tough question. I mean, I wouldn't mind having the ship and then having the gameplay to build after. For me personally, because for the reason why I like the concept, but like I want to not physically, but it's because it's in the game. But to be able to walk around and look at it in my hangar, even if the gameplay is not here. That's just me personally, but I do understand how people would like to have the gameplay along with the ship. But me personally, I mean, if having the gameplay would make the ship be better, or
It would make the ship useful. It would make the ship
make the ship
useful.
useful.
So does giving you the ship satisfy you enough that it lets you wait? Like the fact that you have the ship, you kind of feel secure, like it's your security blanket. Like, well, at least I know I've got the ship, so that means the gameplay's coming.
Yeah.
I mean, is that what
Right.
it is, or is it just the fact that I paid for the ship, I've waited this many years, I should have it, irregardless of the gameplay?
No, the first one. More like a
Okay.
security blanket. I finally had this ship that I've been waiting for it all this time. Yay! Yeah,
Okay.
I'll jump for joy. For me
Okay.
personally, I don't know about other people.
Yeah. Mad Style, that's a good question. How many ships have gameplay? There are ships that have gameplay. The question is how many ships have all of their gameplay, right?
Mhm.
Like I can take a Starfarer out and I can refuel right now, but I can't do gas cloud recovery. I can't like do that with it, right?
And medical is still being developed too, right?
Oh, well, medical's a long way away from where it's supposed to be.
Right.
He was about ships, so I'm just saying, like
Yeah.
even in medical now, like now, for example, to your point, you could say a C8R, right? The medical ship, right? A lot of its features are there for what it does, right? Components work, gel works, the bed works, all that stuff. But there aren't a lot of ships that have like over 50% of their functionality built into them, right? None of the exploration ships, for example, have their exploration packages in them per se.
Yeah, Colossal just mentioned the Carrack.
Yeah, I mean the Carrack's just one of many, right? That's what I'm saying. There's just tons of ships that are like that. Okay, let's bring Admiral in because he's ready to come in. Because Pops has been in already. Let's get Admiral in. Hey, Admiral, how are you?
I don't know why I wait because you and I talk too much because I was like, oh geez, I'm talking to Pops. I'm like, they're talking about what I was going to talk about, so that's
you can talk about it. Feel free.
No. It's just, but I definitely have to agree because you have the thing about the freelancer, right? The freelancer's been in the game in the hangar, 2014. It was in there like pretty close to like since development, and it was just people just, oh, check this out, you can go inside it and all that, and I understand that was good back in the day to kind of get an idea where the game was headed, but I'm gonna go to fastcart on this. So fastcart, you want the Banu merchantman, right? And for people in chat who don't know that, so fastcart wants the Banu merchantman, but the best thing about the Banu merchantman is that you can go to like locations and players bases and like deliver commodities that they don't have to travel away and get. They can just he can bring it right to them, and I think that's what the gameplay we're looking at to come into play. So when base building comes in, like I think that's when the BMM is kind of going to shine. I think a lot because I have an Idris, but like the idea of an Idris or other big ships are to be the microtech of that group that you're in, so that you don't have to spawn a microtech. You spawn on that sub capital or capital ship, and that's where the game goes. You just bring your little microtech with you all wherever you go, and you resupply that ship as you go through the universe. And then lastly, you've got ships out there that have absolutely zero gameplay, like the Reliant Sen. It's a science ship. And we've heard nothing about it. We've heard nothing, absolute squat about science gameplay. And I think we need to get the gameplay so people can enjoy the ships that they purchased years ago, not just the current ones, but years ago, so they can finally get to feel like their time and their money that they spent and gave to CIG was well worth it. So yeah,
that's good stuff. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Admiral. Good points.
Thank you.
Good points. Let's see. We've got Pops in space back in line. Let's get Pops in again. Hey, Pops.
Hey.
Yeah.
I am going to piggyback a little bit off of Admiral, and I'm going to mention the Banu Merchantman at one point. The Banu Merchantman is dependent on AI. Because there just is not going to be. I mean, you can land somewhere, but how many people are going to jump to you unless you have something exclusive? And how are they going to fit that into the game?
Mhm. Let's
We
be
just
clear, Pops. When you said AI, because I want to make sure people understand, you're talking about
Mhm.
How we gonna
NPC
it's NPC?
NPC
How we
Yeah,
gonna do the same thing?
response.
NPC.
Okay.
How we
All
gonna
right.
say
Yeah,
the
we want to
same
make sure we're
thing?
talking about
Yeah,
NPCs. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
NPCs.
Interaction.
NPCs as customers.
Interaction.
They
Yeah.
walk on your ship. And this is another thing I want about the NPC. So I want them to be developed by the time they get in. I want them to be able to actually walk on a ship. Now, you don't have to go too deep, but maybe they can ask you a question. Where is your X and Y? And I can point them to this terminal, tell them, interact with them, tell them it's at terminal 3, and they can go there. And they may leave and come, say thank you, goodbye. I just don't
Now, this is
want
the dream.
the
This is the dream, right, Pops?
yeah,
We're back at the
yeah,
dream, right? Okay. I
yeah,
just want to make sure
yeah.
we're at the dream.
They-
Okay.
okay. And when I think about the Endeavor, is
Uh-huh.
going to need that. Also, the AI customers, the AI
NPCs.
patients,
NPCs.
and
NPC. Yeah, they keep saying AI. Yeah. NPC.
NPCs with AI in them. Well, they're going to need that. What else is it? But there's also my E1 is going to need them. But there's one
Starliner.
ship. Yeah, the Starliner. Yeah, most definitely. But there's one ship that's on that list. And I am curious as hell. What are they going to do with this ship? And it's the RSI Nautilus. I am just really wondering what are they going to do with that ship. So,
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
own one, but I want to
Okay.
know what they're going to do with it.
Okay. All right. All right, Pops. Well, thank you very much
Thank you
again.
for that.
All right.
All right. We are going to move on because we've still got some more things that we want to get some input on because we're laying this background down for folks to come in. This is when you guys get to kind of hear where this show is going. Okay. Again, when we mentioned about community content, it wasn't about content. Like Pops was thinking, he thought it was content creators or content of the game. No, this is about where people are in their contentment or discontent, how they're feeling about Star Citizen and how things are. Because as I mentioned at the beginning, there are some people who've been playing this game for 2 years, 3 years, some people 5 years, some people 8 years, some people 10, some people 12. And everybody carries a different attitude about where this game is, especially depending on where you came in at. Some people have been in this game for 12 years and are hot and mad. There's some people who've been here 12 years and they're fine. There's some people who've been here 3 years. They're hot mad and they've been here 3 years and they're fine. And so we want to talk about what are the pros and cons of how both we as a community as well as CIG is and how we might be feeling about that kind of state of mind that we're in. For this section on the waiting, we're going to show you some stuff in a minute. I'm going to bring it on the screen, but when we talk about waiting, we say based on industry data and analysis of development cycles around 2012, the average AAA game took roughly 2.5 to 4 years to develop. And now you can understand why fastcart people thought, we were talking about this before, that the game was going to be out within like 2014, 2016, right? That was the
2016.
time frame back then, right? This estimate aligns with broad development time studies known by AAA production cycles of that era. No source provides a single 2012 average, but the range is strongly supported by aggregated development time research. But in 2026, a AAA video game typically takes 5 to 7 years or more to develop. This is supported by multiple 2026 industry analysis, longer cycles, 7 to 10 years plus for ambitious open world engine rewrites and live service foundations. I'm sorry, I didn't get all that up there. Sorry. Please forgive me, guys. I should have had that up there on the screen for you guys. The increase is driven by larger asset requirements, more complex systems such as AI, physics, and multiplayer aspects, longer pre-production periods, engine transitions, such as using nobody goes out and creates a brand new engine. So, you have to make Unreal Engine 5 do what it is you want it to do and customize it, right? and also higher fidelity expectations. And fidelity doesn't just mean visually. The fidelity means everything from audio, type of sounds, all this stuff. Everything is, there's more demands from the consumers of what they're looking for. Not in all games, but in the big AAA games, right? We just talked about GTA 6, right? They're getting ready to do their pre-orders this week, and their launch is in November. And because people have been watching the evolution of GTA 6 from the earliest days, each one of the phases, each time that game has come out, it has in many ways leaped and bounded into the next one. The next one didn't look like the previous one. It expanded it more, or it offered more things that you could do. And of course, after GTA 5, which is tremendously popular, there is also tremendous, not only looking forward to, but expectation of what is Rockstar going to do with this next one. How are they going to outdo basically what they did in GTA 5, right? Nobody's going to want to see the exact same thing that was in GTA 5. So that brings a greater level of demand, time, money, all that other good stuff. Okay. Let's look at this thing about the wanting here, FC, because I think I've got it here. Was that the wanting, right? No, the wait. That was the waiting, right? Yeah, that was the waiting. Yeah. Okay. So, any thoughts about the waiting? Let's talk about that for a minute. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump away from that for you. Any thoughts about this aspect of waiting and,
I mean,
CIG?
when I came in 2014, the hubbub for Squadron 42, not Star Citizen, but Squadron 42 was 2016, and that came and went, and they did some kind of marketing push, like they had the interviews with the actors and everything like that behind the scenes, and I was getting hyped for it. But then it came and went, and I don't recall them saying anything about why it was delayed. I mean, probably because the expanse of the game had increased and stuff like that, but I don't recall a specific reason why it was delayed or why they decided to put that marketing out right then rather than wait closer towards it was really released. For Star Citizen, when I came in 2014, I don't recall having a specific date in mind for when it Star Citizen released. Maybe in my mind I have been thinking 2018, 2019. Back then, I didn't know. But yeah, as time goes on, I'm like, okay, so as I saw the development of Star Citizen, like when Port Olisar came out, I was like, okay, maybe it'll be 5 years from when Port Olisar, but maybe 2021 from that time. And so, but I'm glad that this is open development, and people may say that it's been not as open as it used to be, but that's understandable because the company has increased and they're all getting closer to that point where they can't be as open because they want to prevent spoilers and stuff like that, or because the community had put a hubbub about they promised this and promised that, so they had to cut back on the time range of what their expectations of certain features or ships may be. But I've learned to be patient. Maybe because I'm older. Maybe if I were younger, I may not be as patient. That's just me though. But the waiting, I'm fine with the waiting. Like I said before about the Betty Merchman, I'm okay with waiting even without the gameplay of it. So, but it would be nice to have the gameplay and the ship if possible.
Why do you think you're okay with the waiting? I mean, you wouldn't do anything else. You wouldn't purchase anything else in your life and wait like this for it. If you needed your cart and they told you, you paid for it, and they keep telling you, well, it's not ready yet. It's not ready yet. It's not ready yet. You're not going to just sit at home and say, well, I'll wait for my cart.
And my answer to you, Griff, is because they're so open with what they're building and how they're approaching their goals and getting the pieces out bit by bit. So I'm seeing that they're making progress.
So the progress.
The progress.
You feel like the progress is there for you?
They're making legitimate progress toward their goal. So that's why I'm okay.
Do you
with
feel that
waiting.
if you didn't see the progress, you would probably say, I'm out of here? Or do you think you would hang in at this point?
If I didn't see the progress, it'd be like any other development, and we wouldn't be hearing about this game until it's like a
No,
year
no,
or
no. That's
two
not what I'm saying.
before
I'm not
release.
talking about that. I'm
Okay.
saying if the reporting started becoming less and less progress, or you just didn't feel like you felt it was progressing. There's a difference in progress and progressing. If you felt that that the amount of progress was so incremental and you didn't feel like anything substantial was happening, would you think you would still hang in?
It's tough to say. It depends on the examples of how far they will pull back. Like if they say that my favorite thing to hear about in progression is like the how the ships go from concept to release. So if they pull back on that, maybe I have certain feelings about that. But for far as features go, like medical stuff like that, that wouldn't bother me if they pull back on that, because I don't have a real interest in medical stuff. So like, yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I was just curious, if there was something that would be like where you would, draw the line and say, okay, I'm starting to think about, forget this. This is just taking too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't really see them. I don't see a point for me where they could do online. I'm in this for the long haul. Maybe I'm
Okay.
too naive, but yeah, that's me.
No, if that's where you want to cash your coins, it's your money. That's fine. I'm not going to say that's a bad thing. I'm just curious if there was something that, would get you to that point, right? Because a lot of people do. There are people who think, and we've seen people say this, said, I'm done. I've been in here for 10 years and it hasn't delivered what I want. And they walk away. Right?
It's more likely for me, like I would have some kind of medical emergency coming up. That remember. Yeah, for me, especially my age, but yeah, that's me.
All right. That's fair. All right. Let's talk about this. Wanting. Gamers want games delivered quickly for reasons that are emotional, psychological, social, economic. These motivations have only intensified as the industry has shifted toward live service models.
Oh shoot! Wait. So we got 3 people.
We got people downstairs. Oh my God.
Yeah,
okay.
my bad.
All right. No
I didn't
problem.
see who was first.
No
I
problem.
think
Y'all come on.
was first.
We'll come back.
Yeah, I'm going Dragon Fist to face.
All right, we'll come back. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that, gang. Hey, Fist.
Hey, what's happening?
Good.
But I don't mind.
Oh my goodness. Hey, Trip Rodriguez
Trip.
hitting us up again. He beat us to the punch once again, sending over some of his wonderful folks. Welcome, Raiders. Trip, hope you're doing good, buddy. Hope you had a wonderful live stream. Hope you had a good Father's Day weekend. And Raiders, welcome to the Soul Citizens. We are talking about the community, how content or discontent we are with the state of the game and Star Citizen. And it's an open mic, so if you want to come in and talk to us, you can follow the link and give us your thoughts on what we're talking about. So, Fist, we're coming back to you. What were you going to say?
All right, so I don't mind the wait. Y'all know, as I've had conversations with y'all, and very recently been burnt, really burnt, with the most recent game called Ashes of Creation, right? Been in that one since the beginning of development, even before Star Citizen. So, to make a long story short, and my feelings, I look at it like this. If I see signs that something is, going the wrong way, and sometimes you don't see those signs, but, from what I can tell, I don't see Star Citizen right now, in my opinion, going the route of the other games that I've seen that they've taken. And that's why I'm okay with waiting. Now, the state of the game, I understand that there's issues and things of that nature. I have learned to say, you know what? I'll come in happy to jump in, do the Evocati thing, but I triggered my mind to learn, okay, it's not a game yet. So I'm okay waiting. I'm okay waiting.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay. That's fair.
All right.
All right. Thank you. Who's next up?
I'm going to drag almost over and we'll give it a
Okay.
moment.
Almost. How are you, my friend?
Hey there, Griff. How are you, buddy? You too, Fastcart. How you doing?
Oh, I feel like I'm top lip over here. I'm doing well, thank you. How are
We're
you?
doing good. We're
Okay.
doing good. What you got?
All right. Where to begin? First off, I want to apologize to you, Griff, because you know how I feel on the matter, and you got a piece of it this morning
Yeah, it's okay.
or this afternoon, you know, and so you're having to hear my same rhetoric over and over, and I just want to apologize to that.
That's
You have to
okay.
keep hearing it. But it's going to be the same bullet points.
Okay.
Fastcart mentioned earlier, live service games take roughly 10 years on average for, you know, these live service, basically MMOs. That's what that means, basically.
Mhm.
You know, and that's from a developer that's been established, right? So
Mhm.
I don't understand why people don't give that type of leeway to CGIG, who is making 2 games and creating new things and doing new stuff that no other MMO or game has done before. So
I can tell you why. You want to know why?
I could tell you too.
It's because
Go ahead.
we get used to it. We've actually gotten spoiled. We have forgotten the wonder and all the imaginative stuff that happened the first time we experienced walking on a ship, or the first time that we saw a no loading screen. It has become common to us at this point. And so those things that you're talking about, even though they're back there in the back of our minds, they've also become the norm. They're not exceptional anymore. And so we don't put them on the exceptional list as part of that build up. And Togi, please, in the chat, please. Please. That's all I'm going to say is please. Okay. I'm not, if it doesn't apply to you, that's fine. I'm just speaking that when you talk to people and you listen to them and you bring that up, I've talked to people about that and said, well, have you thought about the tech side of what's been done? And they said, well, yeah, I guess I have gotten used to it. I've taken it for granted. That's what I'm talking about. And if it doesn't apply to you, that's fine. Okay.
People,
But I'm saying for
sorry.
some people, I'm just saying for some people, the points that you're making are easily forgotten. They're easily forgotten. You know. So go ahead.
Easily forgotten and even less understood. And
Mhm.
that is, you know, what me and Colossal were talking about earlier. That
Mhm.
I am not a game developer, but I
Mhm.
have been in enough betas and enough alphas and early access.
Mhm.
I mean, I've played more of those than I have games in my Steam library. You've seen my Steam library, so that's
Mhm.
not far fetched, right? I understand how difficult the technology is. I understand what they're going for,
Mhm.
and what they have done already is more impressive than fully finished games out currently.
Mhm.
Um, there's a game that came out recently, has to do with space.
Mhm.
Um, that game is a fully released game, has less content than Star Citizen currently has.
Mhm.
So, and it's not just that. Something else that trying to figure out how to word. What people are able to do in Star Citizen, and this is in relation to what you said about um they're used to it. They should be that should be a testament to how good CIG has made an alpha, an alpha, because people keep wanting to look at an alpha as if it is an already fully released game when it is an alpha.
But the problem with that is that here, let me go back a screen. Okay, let me see if where was it at? It was here. No, it wasn't there. Where was that thing we read about the feelings and stuff? Where was that we read earlier? Fast card. Yeah, there was a thing I read about how this is very emotional, psychological, blah 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 blah. It's right here, right? Yeah, it was the page I was on. Okay.
Oh, the one before. Okay.
Gamers are delivered quickly for reasons that are emotional, psychological, social, and economic. And those factors are the factors that gamers don't realize drive their feelings about this game. They really don't understand how much psychologically this game messes with them. It messes with all of us. If you look at anybody who's committed to this project, this is a commitment that is not like any other gaming commitment out there. You could be an avid GTA person, but they ain't sitting around all day like we are, waiting on something for freaking 14 years. There is a psychological, emotional tie that when we play this game, whether it's broke or whether you have a great day, that affects all of us. I know that. And when I started this thing out, I talked about how these content creators are getting burnt. People are getting burnt out. That's the whole purpose of this show. Those feelings that people feel are real. The question is why? Why are people pushing through? Why are people dealing with the frustration? Why are people angry? Why are people unhappy? I'm not saying they don't have reason to be. I'm saying that's not normal and natural to playing a video game. And it's because we are deeply, deeply, deeply emotionally, psychologically, economically tied to this thing in ways that sometimes we don't realize. That's what I'm saying. So when we talk about why people respond the way they do, because it might seem irrational or it might seem like, why are they so worked up? It's because of those things right there. Especially with this project.
They could be worked up all they want. The irrational part that you said is quoted, underlined, italicized, bold, and blown up to 72 size
It's
font.
not, yeah.
They are
irrational.
irrational.
But when you play Star Citizen and have a great day and nothing goes wrong, it doesn't feel like an alpha anymore. We're driven by those feelings. Gaming
That's
is
true.
a drug. It is cocaine. It lights our
I wouldn't go that
brains
far,
up.
but okay.
No, yes it is.
I was-
Yes it is. Yes it is. It lights up the same neural stuff that drugs do. And when we have a great experience in it, it
Dopamine.
doesn't feel like an alpha anymore. It
That's their
feels
fault.
like a playable game. And it doesn't help that CIG advertises it and says it's a playable game.
Playable now.
Well, they say playable now, which isn't a lie.
They say it's a game.
That's
They
not
say it's a
wrong.
playable game. They say it's a playable game.
Yeah, it is playable. I can get it right now and play.
Well, I'm just saying they don't say it's a playable alpha.
Well, they don't say fully
That's
released
right.
game either. If you want to split hairs on that.
No, don't get me wrong. No, I'm not trying to split hairs. I'm just saying when those things are there, that's why people feel the way they do. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying I understand why people feel the way they do. I can't be
Griff, we got
dismissive.
4 people in the
I know.
back
Yeah, we got
now.
people wanting to
Can
come
I-
in. Okay. Yeah, let's
I
let
just
you
wanna say
finish.
one
I'm gonna
more
let you
thing.
finish. No, you go ahead. Let's
I
just finish.
just
You
want
gotta
to
say.
say
Okay.
one more thing. Okay, there's a content creator who makes content for Star Citizen. This happened a few years ago. Starfield came out. He loved Starfield. Oh, he fell into the weeds deep on Starfield. Loved it. Loved it. And this was right around the time where Star Citizen was going through a rough patch. So he was like, you know what? Everything's messed up on Star Citizen. I'm gonna go back to playing the game that I love, right? Because he took a brief little break because he's a content creator for Star Citizen. He's briefly started doing stuff on Starfield, and then he's like, you know, I'm gonna take a break from this and get some content for, you know, what pays the bills. Well, and he played Star Citizen, buggy mess, right? Then he goes back to playing Starfield. I think he said he played Star Citizen for a few hours that day. Everything went wrong. So he's like, man, I'm going to go back to playing Starfield because it's not as buggy. So then he goes back to playing Starfield. He said he played for like 20 minutes and then he just goes, man, this game sucks. And then went back to playing Star Citizen. That's him. That's all I wanted to say.
All right. That's fair. All right. Thanks, Almost. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks
bro.
for having me.
Thank you.
All right. Who we got next?
You got Lord of the Drip.
Okay. Hey, we haven't had him in a little bit. You see the last time. Hey, Lord of the Drip. How are you?
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good.
I
Gabe, by
am,
the way, I saw that great picture you took, by the way.
Oh yeah, I saw Meg and Kai and Granny Q
Yeah.
and a whole bunch of other people.
That was awesome. That was so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
So what you got, buddy?
So I am a man of two minds about the waiting and the wanting.
Hmm.
And following up after Almost, he makes me want to go from the Martin Luther King "I have a dream" to my Malcolm moment. I want to come in here and be like, citizens, I say and I say it again, you've been had, you've been took, been hoodwinked,
Been
bamboozled,
bamboozled.
run amok,
Yeah, flim
but
flam. All right.
Yeah, put all the
but
you didn't let them put other stuff. Put other stuff. Let it on us.
That's funny.
but I, I look at things like there's so many wonderful things about the game, and so many people want to love it. So many people are enjoying it and enjoying the people that they get to network and play with.
Hmm.
And then you look at things like the Banu Merchantman. You look at you look at you know. I'll give you a different example. Have
Okay.
you ever? Because I'm not someone who lends people money, I prefer to
Hmm.
just give it away. I don't
Hmm.
want the emotions tied into it. But when I was younger, I lent someone money, right? And they said they were going to pay me back.
Hmm.
And I saw that same person spending money on candy, clothes,
Forgot all about you.
girls, everything else before they paid me back. And so it's not an exact parallel, but
Hmm.
if 13 years ago you gave somebody money with the dream of a Banu Merchantman, and
Hmm.
you can't show me any realistic work towards it, but you're popping
Hmm.
out all these other ships, all
Hmm.
these other things that weren't even in the
Hmm.
vision at the time.
Hmm.
You got a right to be upset.
Hmm.
You have a right to be upset. The thing that keeps me, and the other thing that keeps me, uh, you know, looking at some of the negative aspects is that we have a very diverse player base
Hmm.
in this game, and because it's lasted so long, you know, we've lost a couple people along the way, people that I
Right.
played with,
Right.
and
Right.
never got to see the vision
Hmm.
realized. There's been so much time that's elapsed that I think it is reasonable to start asking questions and expect more. The
Hmm.
only thing that keeps me on the positive side is it's still a wonderful game.
Hmm.
The verse is still a wonderful.
Yeah.
And as long as Sid is solvent and committed to realizing the vision, as long as they're financially solvent and committed to realizing the vision, I'm able to maintain hope.
Hmm.
And that's what keeps me. That's why I can hop in with 4 or 5 people
Hmm.
and phase through the planet halfway through a mission or something like that, and
Hmm.
still gear back up and do it all over again.
Okay.
So that's the waiting and watching for me.
That's
Lord of the
cool.
Driven Black into like gaming. You brought up a similar point that I thought of, but didn't state earlier when talking about the backlog of ships. And so whenever a ship come out that like been previously unannounced and go straight to flyable, I do kind of get a like CIG a side eye. It's like, why are you working on this ship not being around? But sometimes it's not too explicit in my case, but I do give them a little bit of the side eye. So I know what you mean.
Yeah,
Well,
and I
thanks.
would rather you give me a Banu Merchantman that doesn't do what it's intended to do. Like for
Hmm.
instance, Citizen Her is a streamer who she really gets excited about like setting up ships. Right,
Hmm.
take a
Hmm.
ship, set it up for a specific type of gameplay.
Hmm.
There isn't the tech to support these different types of things that she's trying to do, but at
Hmm.
least the ship is there for me to, even if I just decide to use it as a cargo hauler or whatever,
Hmm.
give me something. Give me
Yeah.
something.
Okay.
And that's all I got. That's all.
That's fair.
All right,
Thank you guys.
thank
All
you.
right. Thank you for coming in, man. Appreciate you. All right.
Up
All
next
right.
we
Next up,
have
I think it's Red
Red
Wolf. I
Wolf.
think Red Wolf. I think maybe.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Hey, Red. How are you?
Hey guys, how is everybody? I'm doing great out here in Arizona.
Good. 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 What you got, buddy?
Staying cool in the AC.
I just wondering, first off, when we're going to have another get together, and let's make it in Chicago this time.
Mm.
Okay. We'll have to figure out something, right? It's been a little while.
Yep. So
Okay.
I've been around since the beginning, and I just want my Crucible. But I know from a year ago when I talked with one of the game people from CIG that they're going to completely rebuild it because the size of ships have gotten so much bigger and more complex.
Yep.
So he said it's going to be a while. Don't expect it until after 42 releases. So I think they're going to release, once 42 releases, I think we're going to see a big jump in other gameplay loops and stuff and bring in some more stuff at that point. I think they're kind of just waiting for the release now.
That's cool. Well, the cool thing that you've got, Red, from a few years ago that you didn't have before is now you've got all the elements that need to be used for it, right? Because now they've got the thing where you can bring supplies on the ship and the resources get pulled from the boxes. You've got repair in there now. You've got salvage in there now. So all the things that the Crucible needed in the past, those mechanics are there now. So now, like you said, it's just a matter of now just actually putting the ship together. So that's cool. That's very cool. I know you've been waiting. I know you've been waiting on that Crucible.
You don't know how many bullet holes I've been patched.
Yeah.
since we were first able with the hand scraper to take them away and put them back.
Yeah.
I've been going out and patching my own bullet hole.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, Red, it's good to hear from you, man. Okay, we'll have to get together and talk with our buddy Archie soon. Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure. Catch you later. Hey,
thanks, buddy.
I gotta throw a plug in here for any veterans. If you don't know about it, there's an organization called Regiment.
Okay.
And it's role-playing games, and it's all veterans, active duty and veterans.
Okay.
For it, and you can get free games through them and everything else. So just had to pitch it. That's why I've been playing with lately.
So it's a group, and they're called Regiment. Is that what you said it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you guys see Red Wolf is in here, so you guys, if you want to reach out to him and get any details, reach out to him. Is that okay, Red, that they reach out to you?
Yeah, no problem.
Cool, awesome. All right,
Thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. Okay,
catch y'all later.
Okay, who we got next?
Right,
I think
Kusanagi.
Let's get Jai because Kusanagi was never mind. You already got him. That's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fine. It's fine.
There you go.
Yep.
All right.
Because I was trying to give him more time to talk. That's all. Because I know Jai's not going to be long. But go ahead, Admiral.
Hey guys. So I know you guys know I've been pushing 2030 for a while, and we're talking about the wanting and the waiting game of kind of what we're doing here, and what's coming. And one thing I did, I reached out. I was a little confused with how AAA games are developed and stuff like that, and the timelines for stuff like that. So I'm like, hey, what exactly what actually has to happen for this thing to actually do its thing? So it kind of did it a timeline with best case. It's so it would be let me find it. So it would be the fixed critical bugs, which could take 1 to 2 years. Finish Nix could take 1 year, maybe 2 at the most. Build. Now, the systems rely heavily on Genesis, and when that actually hits, right? So when it comes to us, or comes to them, I should say. So, and then it's build 2 more fill systems, and that's not delivering it to us like we got Nix, where it's just it's missing a planet or 2. It's everything that's supposed to come with those. So that's maybe, I don't want to say 3-4 years, but saying 3 to 4 years, and then polish the entire 5-system game. So a polish is definitely an event that happens for AAA games. And then you have the optimization after that, and then they stabilize the game, and then they test it with in-house Q&A people, and then you have to test it, and then with them, and then you have to certify it for release. And they definitely need certification if you're going to have either Squadron 42, that type of game, or PU ever going on straight Steam or something like that. So, 5-7 years is sounds ridiculous for a lot of people to add on to the timeline where people are thinking it's going to come out in 2028, but or before 2030. I'm saying 2030, and I think it's actually, I'm not sure if that's even realistic anymore. But I think I know talking to a few people, in the community, they were that no way would they even think that's a possibility. I think the hope right now is Squadron 42 comes out and they get a lot of devs go into the areas that are missing people, and I hope that's the case. And I know they're hiring a lot of people, but there's still a lot of unknowns, especially with these bugs that's kind of going on. And I'm really surprised it took them that long to say, oh well, maybe we should start fixing these bugs that are actually hurting gameplay now. I think that might be hurting the new players who come in and you're new and you can just get a full refund before 30 days. And I think maybe that's what's going on. But yeah, I think that's something that's, but I'm here for it. I'm a little frustrated, and which I'll come to later if you guys are still on. It's 9 o'clock already, so
yeah, we're gonna still go a little bit longer. We got a few more things we're going to present, so we're going to be on for a little bit still.
Okay. The timeline is it's just a little kind of crazy when you kind of dig in the weeds of what games.
Well, let me say this. Let me say this to your timeline that I would tell you to consider for your timeline. I think you're mixing some of the elements of a game that is released versus the way a live service is released. So in other words, that beta testing aspect you're talking about is not going to go to a Q&A. It's going to be us. Everything leading up to 1.0 has to be tested because remember CIG said when 1.0 comes out, it's ready. It's done. There's no more shutting down. There's no more any of that other stuff. There's no more patches. That is it. So everything that gets dropped between now and then is the testing to build up to that.
Well, I get that. It's like 6 months, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, but I'm just saying there's no beta testing or that's not going to happen. Us doing it now leads up to it. If you had a closed game,
beta?
Huh?
Do you think the stabilizing phase would be beta?
No, I'm saying that what we're doing now leads up to that. That leads up to 1.0. Okay, everything is supposed to be a 1.0. We get before 0.0. We get it. I'm not saying Q&A won't look at it ahead of time. I'm not saying Evocati, but I'm saying the same way everything is tested now in a live service has to happen because a Q&A cannot stress the game out enough at that level for an MMO. You have to have people playing the game, which would be like a beta, right? It would be like a beta, but we're going to be the people doing that, right? Because we have to, at 1.0, supposedly, according to what they say, it's supposed to be playable at that point.
That's it. I agree with that.
So I'm saying I got what you're saying. I'm just saying I think it's just a hybrid of what you're saying for that. The other thing is that, and this is the one thing that we have to hope for, Admiral. It's not just the addition of employees, because additional employees don't necessarily expedite production. But what you mentioned about Planet Tech V, because a lot of things are held not being put in because of the Planet Tech 5 for V5. Otherwise, they got to do it all over again. So some stuff's being held back for that. The hope is that if Planet Tech V5 becomes stable and successful, then all the other stuff exponentially comes in a bit faster. It won't come in at the same pace that they're doing now. That's in theory. Now, in theory, it could still come in the same pace it is, then you would be absolutely right on your numbers. But I think that the idea is that as they get better, they also produce things faster. Just like back in the day, it took months to produce planets. You know what I mean? So it'll be also based upon where if the tech allows them to produce things a little bit faster. But we'll have to see. Your scenario could be completely on point. It could be completely on point. Okay. All right, let's get Ja in, and then we're going to move on to this final thing here. Hey, Ja, how are you? Is he here? Oh, he's not here yet.
He wasn't
there.
There.
He is.
Now he's there.
Here he is. Hey, Ja. How you doing, buddy?
Everybody. Hey.
Good, good. Sure. What you got?
Mm-hmm. I wasn't gonna jump on.
Why not?
I wasn't gonna jump on, but I think I feel like I had to.
Sure. Go ahead.
And here's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's an emotional aspect, and I think you kind of touched on it, Griff, that we're emotionally invested into this game. Mm-hmm. Not only emotionally, but we're financially invested in this game, and we really want this game. We all want the game to come out,
right?
But there's an aspect that I'm starting to see where it's starting to feel like they're kind of laughing in our faces or weaponizing our emotion.
Okay.
Right.
Give it a little bit of example,
and stability, right?
Okay.
Looking at stability, right? Stability of the game not being a top priority where things slip through during update phases.
Okay.
Like with 4.8, right? We all understand that features need to come through, right? Okay, they're building to this grand launch. But at the same time, is it at our expense? You know what I mean? They have the ability to run two separate branches of the game, one that could be stable always, and the other one where you can have people that want the punishment.
Yeah. I've heard people mention this before. I'll reference something that what's the guy's name? The dev fastcart that we is in the community. The dev, the computer engineer guy.
Oh.
Y'all help me.
Oh, not Daniel.
What's the guy who's the engineer? Because what Ja's mentioning has been brought up before, and he explained why that does not happen. Jesus Christ, the guy with the glasses and Grollo. Grollo's engineer, software engineer.
Dev. I think it's CIG Dev.
No. He's a software engineer. And this is what Grollo said, to your point, Ja, because that suggestion has come up before. Why don't they let the live service run, make that run well, and then just have the PTU and that be the testing branch, and then they bring it over. The thing is that if you can't have a game that's finished and running well, like everything is fine, and then also have the game that is broken and you're trying to work out stuff, and then try to merge that into the new one, because everything causes some type of cause and effect when you bring new stuff into a game. So once you introduce new stuff, all that stuff that was stable in the first version that you have is going to somehow get affected. It is going to be in some way or other. And if you're talking about making that live branch like really running well, you're probably also saying not only is it bug free, but it's optimized. And so that's another level of which Star Citizen is not. It's not optimized. So if you want to have that game that runs well, no problems, and all the basics of what we have right now are running, if you try to merge that PTU, that was the new features and stuff into it, it is going to wreck the other one. So it sounds good in theory, but it can't work. And one of the best example he gave was, he said it was like when you buy a table from IKEA. He says, when you start putting the table together, he says, you know not to tighten all the screws as you do it. You only tighten the screws so far. Because if you tighten all the screws as you go, eventually there's something that happens that it's off, and you got to go back and untighten everything and break it down again to make it work. And that was, he says, a very crude illustration. He said, but that's how it works in engineering. So even though your suggestion sounds great, from a software engineer's perspective, he's like, you can't do that, especially when a game is introducing, not only refining itself, but it's introducing new things in the game that weren't there before. It's going to have some type of cascading effect on other stuff in the game, if that makes any sense. So
yeah, it makes perfect sense. And I understand that's the reason why we have the environment that we have right now.
Yeah.
But no one talks about, we can run multiple branches, not in the sense of one PTU, but one, let's say, because you have the Evocati branch, you have the PTU branch, and then you have the live branch, right? So that proves that they can run multiple different branches.
Agreed.
But what I'm saying is that they can have a stable branch
that stays stable until it's ready.
Well, a branch where they've added or transitioned the experimental stuff into and they're putting those together. So essentially that would be our live branch that we have right now.
Yeah. I would say that, go ahead, Fastcart.
What you're describing is like, how do you deal with persistence now? Because when that stable branch decides to become obsolete and they need to go to the next stable branch, they can't just put over your inventory, your UEC credits and everything like that over to the next stable branch, because you'd have to start from scratch all over again.
Yeah. Here's the thing to your point, Ja, that people have been saying, because CIG said they were going to do this. They said that not only were we going to have the PTU and the Evocati, but there was also supposed to be the tech preview channel, right? That was supposed to be running. And a lot of people have been saying the tech preview channel has not really been getting used very much. There's a lot of people who felt like this last few new ships that came in, CIG didn't put them in the PTU ahead of time for us to test them. So like a lot of stuff with the Ironclad, even though that was in there, we saw there were problems with the Ironclad. But then they introduced like all these new ships, and maybe that's because they're confident. I don't know. When the what was it called, DefenseCon came around, but none of those ships were put in ahead of time for us to test them out. And so there's, now maybe they're at the point where they feel like, hey, their Q&A is on point. And admittedly, the Ironclad was really the only one that had any major problems, but it also introduced new tech, right? Which the M80 did not do, which the Pitbull didn't do, So maybe that was a leading into why there was problems with that particular ship, right? And we knew there were problems with it when it was in the PTU. I get what you're saying, and I don't think there's anything wrong with to your point, though, that we should really make sure that, and sometimes we've had this happen too. When we've been in PTU and PTU was running really well, like that last phase of it, and it was running good, and then as soon as they made it go live, it crashed. And like we were playing it like that day before, and it seemed like it was great, and then it went live and stuff just got busted. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that when there's not there's many people playing the PTU. Now, there are some people who believe that we shouldn't have a PTU, that it should always be that way, because that way we're always stressing it out, so that you don't get that banger where the PTU is running good, but then when it goes live, it ruins live. You know, I don't know what the fix is for it. I hear what you're saying. I wish there was a way that we could keep, because at one point when the PTU and live aren't playable, that sucks. You know what I mean? And there have been times when the live was so bad, people stayed in the PTU because it was running. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know, I don't know what the fix is for that. You know, but I think you got some good points. I wish there was something that they could create that at least you knew there's some reliability when we come in and play. And if you know the other one's buggy, then that's where you go play at. You know, but Stunner said something earlier, and this is the part that none of us like to hear. It is still considered an alpha. And an alpha, even though people feel like, yeah, it's an alpha for 14 years. Yeah, but because it's an alpha, that says it. That is the moniker that says it can be not playable. It could be buggy. It could be, you know, just concept stuff that maybe it will change. All of that falls under that category of alpha. Beta is another story, but alpha gives so much latitude for the company to have the game in so many various states, whether we like them or not. And sometimes we like them, and sometimes we don't. You know.
Fastcart says something interesting about persistence, and I've noticed. Like I was playing the game, and the bodies started disappearing. I couldn't loot them, and I was wondering. But the game was running, really nicely. The NPCs are running well, and they were talking about persistence in that last tech interview, and they were pretty much saying there's a big problem because it has to be predictive because we're using persistence, right? And where it seems like they're rolling persistence back now a little bit.
Yeah.
And we just can't leave things. And then which to your category where you were talking about, it just seems like some of the things they're trying to deliver, they're realizing they can't deliver, and they're trying to cope at the same time.
That could be. They may have to roll things back because what they thought was going to work doesn't. I mean, this is not the first time. If we go back to the old days of socks and all that other stuff before we got the persistence thing, they spent a whole year thinking they had that together, and they had to throw the whole thing out until they finally developed persistence the way they did later. So that could be a part of the development. I mean, you got to remember, when it comes to doing something that's different, you're still trying to do something that hasn't been done, and you're not going to get it right every time. And the path that you think is it, once all the elements get introduced, I mean, you can always have something in theory of what you want to see happen, but it's not until it gets out there with us and we start doing all the crazy stuff. I mean, Benoit talked about this. There's some things that it's not until we start doing stuff, that things that maybe they didn't even consider, we start introducing into the game, that changes stuff. It actually literally changes things about the game because of the way we play, And so I wouldn't doubt what you're saying, that maybe that is what's happening. Maybe there's some things they had to pull back. Like, for example, they had to shut down the thing the other day with all the Idrises and stuff, right? They had to literally pull them out of the game because it was just too many problems, right? And they had to do some fixes, and then they reintroduced it into the game. I wouldn't be surprised if they did something like that,
And Colossal was screaming at us. They did the tech talk that deals exactly with the discussion. That
yeah. If they haven't had a chance to watch it, yeah. But we need to move forward. John, thank you. And thank you. Those are some good points that you brought in. Thanks, buddy. I'm glad you came in. FC, I'm going to God, we have so many notes, and we haven't even got to the notes. So,
no.
Okay, we had some notes to this that went along with this page, guys. And I'm just going to breeze through this. So I hope you got good, fast reading, because I'm not going to stop on these too much. But this is the stuff that came in with the wanting, okay? The waiting, rather. And things that affect us, right? These type of things that really get us piped up, right? Cinematic trailers, developer diaries, influencer reactions, any leaks and speculation, all that stuff needs a psychological payoff, right? All those things help push us into feeling certain ways about the game that we're playing. We also have an instant gratification culture, right? all the things that surround us that we don't have to wait on anymore. You know, you got drive-throughs, your movies are live streaming your house now. You don't have to go to the theater. These are all like background things that affect our expectation on delivery of things and how we can get things like that. Then, of course, there's the old infamous FOMO, right? The fear of missing out, right? Being behind, late to a meta. You know, you get spoiled by certain streams and stuff, left out of certain events to take place. That's all there. Then there's things like this, social identity and community pressure, right? All these other aspects. We're just kind of going through all this stuff that kind of helps drive us. Then there's the financial commitment, right? Maybe you bought stuff, like the ships are pre-ordered, right? You bought your brand new merchant. That's kind of like a pre-order, right? That you backed it by a Kickstarter, right? That you bought an early access into it, that you bought these cosmetics and stuff and you want to see them work or you want to be able to use them in the game, right? I paid for something. Why don't I have it? That's all a part of our thing that goes there as well. Then you can start get distrust of the delays, okay? You start getting, you feel like things have been overpromised. There's been delays. Some things maybe got downgraded. You know, John was just saying how they may have pulled back some things, right? Some launches, things that don't go well when a patch goes bad, right? Things that were supposed to be in the game that get canceled and changed. Then you start getting in things when, remember this back in the day, the vaporware thing. Oh, it's all going to be vaporware, you know, or are they hiding? They're not telling us that they can't accomplish something. All that stuff goes on, right? Will it be another cyberpunk? Okay.
Is it a scam?
Yeah, competitive landscapes that are out there too. There are other games that are fighting for our attention that want us to play them, right? Other things that we could be seeing. There's sales going up on Steam all the time. The trend shift, you know, 12 years ago, space was a big thing. Then space started dying down for a little bit. Now space is coming back again. It's going through this weird cycle, right? And then players' tastes evolve. You know, players start wanting to play different things after a certain point. Emotional attachments to the franchise. Some of us are nostalgic. We've been here since the beginning. Oh, I remember when Chris Roberts gave his speech back at G&G, you know, all that stuff, right? Some of us are bound to that. Some of us have an attitude of ownership. We put in a certain amount of money and we feel like we're a part of this thing and our voices should be heard. And then there's personal connections. Some of us have gone to citizen cons or gone to bar citizens, or we connect with people in our discords. All of that stuff is a part of it. Then there's the respect my time argument, right? People have jobs, they have families, limited free time. They want games that fit into their schedules, right? Not the ones that demand years of waiting and massive time sinks. We've heard this before. This argument often gets misused, but the core is valid. Gamers want limited leisure, have very limited leisure time, and they feel rewarded and not wasted. And we can talk about that because I got a whole thought theory on that one. And then there's modern expectations of transparency, right? Roadmaps, updates, milestones, honest communication. We want that type of stuff because CIG has said that they're going to be transparent. They're going to talk to us. They're going to fill us in, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Those were the quick ones. Now, cost, and I got to watch this time. All right. The cost of Star Citizen remaining broken, or even just perceived as broken, hits both Cloud Imperium Games, CIG, and the community of long-term backers in ways that go far beyond bugs or delays. It affects trust, finances, morale, and in the long term, viability of the project. And because of Star Citizen is crowdfunded, those costs are shared in ways that are almost unique in gaming. Below, this is a structured breakdown of the real cost, economic, social, psychological, reputational to both sides. Now, you better believe CIG is aware of this one. Guarantee you, they're very much aware of this. I don't think they're oblivious to it. The question is, what is the tolerance level? You know, how far can this go? That they start losing people. Now, you know, last week, Disco did this big thing showing how much engagement there was and the growth and all that stuff. And that's great. But I guarantee you there are also numbers that say how many people are not playing, how many people have stopped playing, how many people have just left the game. There are also some people who have come back to the game, not new people, but people who have heard that the game is in a better state and they're playing it more. Right. And there are more people playing the game. There are more people. Here's a real irony, fastcart. As buggy as the game was during DefenseCon and as messed up as it was with the free fly and everything else, they made a ton of money. And people,
yes, they did.
People usually vote with their dollars. If they hear something's not working or they sense something's not working, they do not spend their money. So something is still making people commit and put dollars into the game, even when it's in a state like it was during Gamescom. Okay.
Yeah, how many times have you heard a slogan like "No cast, no pyro" and stuff like that?
Oh,
and
yeah.
it never,
Well, that's
it never
internal.
the suggestion never seemed to fit the reality of what they're saying.
Well, you know what?
they want
I
to
don't
happen.
think people don't mean it. I think that's a way of people expressing their frustration, right? When people say, "I'm not spending any more money." That's fair. And if people don't listen, I think people, if they're not happy, they shouldn't spend money. I'm not saying that, because we get away from the idea that giving money to CIG is supposed to be about supporting the project. We have shifted
Yeah.
so much toward 80-90% of it is about buying a ship and having a game experience. And that support side of it gets diminished, or we dismiss it as not being important. But if you don't feel like the game is doing what you need it to do or moving in a direction, you do have the right to say, you know what, I'm going to hold off for a little bit. You know what I mean? And when I see something that I feel tickles my fancy, I'll toss some money in. People could do that, right? Or people could just say,
like
I've
those
given
skins for the
enough.
villain I just talked about. Yeah.
Yeah. Or people could just say, I've given enough, right? I've given enough. I've put in more than I expected. And I'm just going to sit back and hopefully they'll get it fixed one day. I mean, they could say that even, right? There's no compelling that people have to spend their money. Let me go through this last thing real quick, and then we'll get the last of the guests in. Anybody wants to come in on this, what we're talking about. Costs of the cloud. Okay. The cost of Star Citizen remaining broken or even perceived broken. I just read that part, right? All right. Reputational damage. Okay. Some people may say they don't care about this. Some people, I think they do. I think they are very much aware of any of these things that I'm listing here. Reputational damage. Every time a major patch breaks in the core system or promised feature slips for years, CIG pays a reputational price. Media coverage, which we've seen that happen before, becomes increasingly skeptical. New players hesitate to buy in. Existing players become more vocal critics. And you start getting into the vaporware. I still hear people say Star Citizen is nothing but a tech demo. I still hear that to this day.
Yeah,
right? And I've even heard vaporware to this day, right? Reputation of CIG is their most valuable and also their most fragile currency. Oh my God, Storage Room Grim.
Oh man. Hey, ladies, welcome.
Oh my God, Grim. Well, we were hoping to get you because we saw you started at the same time we did. Welcome, Raiders. Thank you guys for coming. Hope you had a great time with Grim. We know you guys did. Grim, good to see you as always. Thank you again for the information. Grim has got an event coming up. He's going to be hosting his very first big Star Citizen event in Ohio, and it's going to be in July, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't have the date, Grim. If you want to drop it in, feel free. But if you guys are interested in going out there and meeting him,
I was gonna say DM me the link and I'll drop it in chat for you.
Yeah, September 12th. We got some time then. Okay, yeah, Grim, give us info later on. We'll definitely push it out there because I told him I'm going to come out there. I'm planning. We went last time out to Ohio. It was great, but I want to be able to go out and support him, so it'll be really fun. And so just so you guys know what we're talking about, we were talking about what is the cost to both the community and CIG when it comes to the delays and things not working well, and whether or not the community is content or discontent, and how we address that. So, Grim, hope you had a great stream. By the way, we don't want to not say that
Father's
to you.
Day.
Yes, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers. Absolutely. Let's see. What was I saying here? Oh, we talked about reputational damage, right? Increased development cost. Broken or unstable foundation forces, rewrites, refactors, engine overhauls, rebuilding systems, things of that nature. We talked about that earlier when we talked about socks and stuff, how they had to scrap that whole thing and come up with a whole new concept, right? There's still money that's involved. And one of the things about development is time and money. That's always a factor. So don't ever think that those two things are not hand in hand. They're always hand in hand when it comes to game development. Salaries are also a part of that as well. Server costs, tooling, QA overhead, and opportunity costs. 14-year development cycle is financially brutal, even with crowdfunding. Okay. Slower revenue growth. Now, this is interesting that they say this. When the players feel that the game is broken, new players don't convert. Existing players stop spending. Word of mouth declines. Events like Evictus or IAE underperform. And that is actually not what happened. They actually made a ton of money, which is really weird because this goes to show you how this is such a weird hybrid freaking model and so different than other stuff. Because technically, again, people vote with their dollars. But, some people would say, well, there's a lot of new players. They were naive, blah, 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 blah. They didn't buy an Ironclad. That probably could have been it because the Ironclad was the biggest thing that people were thinking about. But there was still a lot of stuff in the game that wasn't working. Hangars weren't working. People couldn't get in the game. There was tons of stuff, inventory and everything else. Yet and still, they made a ton of money during that month.
To your point,
really
I gave CIG more money this
Thanks,
point
Grim.
last year. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
thanks, Grim. I gave CIG more money this point last year than I have this year. Like, I barely spent $23 maybe this year so far.
Okay.
I'm not, that's not exact, but compared to last year, yeah, I've slowed down a lot.
Okay. But it wasn't because of bad stuff.
It wasn't
You
because
just
of
didn't
this.
spend
I
as
mean,
much
this,
money.
it-
Yeah,
it-
you just didn't
yeah.
spend more money. Okay.
Right.
All right. Where's the stupid arrow at? There it is. Let's see. CIG relies heavily on ship sales, concept sales, and pledge upgrades. A broken experience directly reduces these. I'm not sure. I'm sure there may have been some people. I don't know. I didn't know if I heard anybody actually say, I'm not buying the so-and-so because it's not working. I don't know.
I never heard that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying there were anybody
I
who
hate
didn't do
people.
that.
I hate people more say I'm melting something because it's not working, or I'm
Yeah.
buying something back because
And
it's working
maybe
now.
that's the catch, right? Because in the most consumer stuff you can't do that, right? But maybe in this particular case, because you can melt, that helps a little bit. Momentum matters in the game development. When the core systems break or regress, teams lose morale, roadmaps slip, dependencies pile up, leadership must constantly reprioritize. This creates a development drag that compounds over time. Now, this is internal. Whether this is happening or not, don't know. All right. When we're on camera, it seems like everybody's in a fairly decent morale space, you know. And to Fastcart's point, the company is growing. They're hiring more people. Some people have left. Admittedly, that happens. But they are also, I think they got like, last week I looked, they got like 43 or 48 positions open or something right now. Now, let's talk about the cost to the community. And by the way, Admiral's at the things, so we're going to make sure we get him in before we close out. Cost to the backers. Erosion of trust. Backers who have supported the project for 5, 8, 10 plus years of experience. They get fatigued. They get cynicism. There's a loss of faith in the timelines, and they get emotional burnout. Trust is the glue that holds crowdfunding projects together. When the game remains broken, that glue starts to weaken. Financial, sunk cost pain. Many backers have $200 in, $500, $1,000 plus, some cases over $10,000 invested in ships, upgrades, and pledges. And when the game is broken, that investment feels wasted, trapped, embarrassed, regretful. And this creates cognitive dissonance, okay, which often manifests as anger, defensiveness, denial, hypercriticism. The emotional cost is high. We are all subject to this. Every one of us. There's nobody who is not subject to this. So don't be flipping out when people flip out, because this is just a reality of what this particular project can bring. Community fracturing. A broken game divides the community into true believers, skeptics, critics, lapsed backers, and refund seekers, right? All of those. We can say amen to every one of those suckers, right? And this leads to forum wars, subreddit toxicity, Discord fragmentation, loss of shared identity. A fractured community is harder to rebuild than a broken game. So what they're saying is that you can start having contention, people feeling a certain kind of way. Folks come into your Discord and get triggered, and they're getting triggered because they're frustrated, not because they're mad at you or mad at anything else, but those frustrations, being in that space and talking about it, can be enough to frustrate people, okay? And then there's loss of social momentum. Star Citizen is a social game, and when it's broken, orgs stop running. We've seen this, right? We've seen orgs disappear. Orgs that no longer exist.
Yeah.
That started out, right? Friends stop logging in. People start saying, I'll come back in 2 weeks, or I'll come back next month, or I'll come back in the next quarter, right? New players start to bounce off. If they have a bad experience when they come into the game, they may say, forget this game. I thought it was ready and it's not. And then veteran people drift away. I've known people who've played this game for a long time, and after a certain point, they're like, I'm done. I can't wait anymore. I'm tired of waiting, and it doesn't make a difference what level of progress is there. It hasn't reached the place that they feel satisfied. They're not getting something rewarding from themselves from the game anymore. The community loses the living world feeling and keeps the MMO alive. And then there's emotional fatigue. Long-term backers experience about hope. They get disappointment cycles. They get patch day anxiety. They just can't wait till that patch comes out. They are downloading that sucker as soon as it hits because they're just anxious. They have fear that the project won't finish. There are people, oh, Jesus.
Wow. Thanks for the
Yo,
raid,
yo,
everybody.
Meg, thank you for the raid. Our one of our own, Yo Yo Meg. Meg, we hope
Make
you
sure you
hope
give
you
her a
had a
follow.
great stream. Welcome Raiders. Hope you guys had a great time over with Meg. We know you did because Meg's a sweetheart. We are toward the end of our show, but we're talking about how content or discontent the community is and why they feel the way they are, why the way they feel they do. And we're talking about the relationship between Cloud Imperium Games and its community and how they're kind of tied together. So that's kind of the short version. You guys, but bear with us here because we're kind of hitting the very end of this here. And we're talking about backers here on this particular area. They have fear that the project will never finish. And we've heard people say this, right? They'll say, "Oh, the game's never going to get done." Now, I'm not talking about the finish that Chris Roberts talks about, where he says the game is going to go on and on in
1.0,
development. We're talking
yeah.
about people who honestly
Right.
feel like they ain't trying to finish stuff. There are people who will say,
Right.
no, they
They're making too
want to
much money
keep it
now.
alpha. Yeah, they're making more money in the alpha. They'll never get it to the playable because they're making more money selling ships, stuff like that, right? And then exhaustion from defending or explaining the game. People get tired of trying to explain it. They don't want to talk about it anymore. It's like, whatever. I'm because people aren't. It doesn't make a difference what we say. People don't
I'm
believe what they
done.
want to believe, right? This emotional fatigue can be one of the biggest hidden costs, right? People just start getting tired. Okay. Now, what are the costs to both CIG and the community, right? One, delayed vision. Both sides want the same thing. They want a living universe. They want groundbreaking simulation. They want a game that just works. Every broken patch delays that shared dream. Increased toxicity. When the game is unstable, critics get louder, defenders get more defensive, neutral players get pushed away. And toxicity hurts CIG's reputation, the community's cohesion, and the onboarding of new players. Loss of narrative control. When the game is broken, CIG loses control of the story. The community fills the void with speculation, with rumors, with worst case assumptions, and what? This damages both sides. Long-term risks. If the game remains broken for too long, the ultimate cost is existential. CIG risks losing the trust of their fund that funds their development, and backers risk losing the dream that they've invested in over a decade. That's the real danger. It's not a bug, it's not a delay, but the slow erosion of belief. Okay? All right, let's bring Admiral Kusanagi in. He's the only person we have, so we may be able to wrap this up. Admiral, you're back.
I'm back. Oh
Yes,
God,
sir.
we're ready to start. So okay, so one thing I do want to say is that I think people who've been playing the game, say the past year, even though when 4.8 came out, they were thinking like, oh, I get to buy this ship. So say if I was a new player came in 6 months ago, they were probably pre-planning to get this ship, and 4.8 didn't really change that thinking process. And of course, the Odin sale was a completely different animal, anyways. So I feel that's kind of like where the money really hit, and why it doesn't look bad based on how 4.8 kind of did. Personally, I recently hit a wall because I was really amping up Star Citizen in another Discord, and then I posted someone put in their Odin submittal, and I put a screenshot in there, and they're like one of the heavy whales. And she was shocked at like how much money they spent, and she was like, "Is that a cult? Like, I don't want you talking about this game anymore in this Discord anymore unless it's a finished game." And I was like, trying to defend it, and and she's like, "No, just don't, not anymore. Like, I'm not gonna allow it." I'm like, "Okay, fine." So I did submit to try to get at least in the Odin Club. That didn't happen, and I think it got because they attached 2 tickets together, the Odin submittal and a help ticket I put in. I was trying to let them know that there was an issue with the submittal form, and I don't even think it got read, but that's besides the point. So I was like, you know what? I didn't get in the Odin Club, and even though I probably wasn't seriously buying the ship, I was just wanting to get in the club at least. And then I was like looking into the Javelin, and I'm like, it's too big, it's too expensive. But I'm like, you know what? I'm like, let me look at the specs and stuff like that, and maybe I can pull this off. So I'm not much of a whale, but I have spent over 10 years in the game, and incrementally have bought ships over that period of time. So like I have the Idris, but I used a tax return for that. But But see, again, with the Idris, because it was War Bond, I had like 10 minutes to buy that ship, right? And it was just back in the day, like a couple of years ago, that it was just like I had time to get it. It was no issue. It was smooth sailing. And I've always said this to people: as long as you use fresh cash, you don't have a problem getting anything. It's just the F5 Wars, just the the people with the credit and all that stuff.
Now I got to expedite you, dude, to get into the
Yeah, I know,
about the cost. Okay, go ahead.
So I tried to get in the Javelin sale, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to use fresh cash. And each sale I got, it was like within a second, it was sold out. And I was like, well, okay, got it in my cart. And then I like at midnight, I got up. Okay, I'll make sure I got it at midnight. Then I got up early, went at 4 a.m. And then I got up early before work, so it was okay for the 8 a.m. And I didn't get it. But the Citizen Ninja, trust me, a Nidris is not a whale. So I mean, that's like a couple ships if you melted them. And so I've never done the F5 thing before. And I was like, I can't believe CIG does this shit. I was so like blown away and so pissed off by that event, and like having to like defend CIG and dealing with all the 4.8 stuff.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let me stop you for something you just said. Why do you feel you have to defend CIG?
Because I think it's a great game. I think it will. Let me rephrase that. I think it will be an amazing game. I have high hopes for Squadron 42. I've always said that.
Right.
And I look at the timeline very realistically, at least in my head. And I think, like when 4.8, I'm like, I don't use the elevators. I've been doing missions like refueling. I've been doing, investigation missions. I just fight the fighters, and then I get out of my ship and I find.
And I still want you to address my question. Why do you feel? I didn't say about the game being good, or why do you tell people about the game? I said, why do you feel you have to defend the game?
I don't think I need to defend it. I think I like it a lot. I like the community that has brought me to know. Like, you guys are great. Like, we talk after this thing. People don't know we have Soul Citizens After Dark. It's because it's like after the show. I highly invite it. Everybody can come in, get on the Discord, and we have a good time talking about stuff. Right. And I just feel like the community that I have learned in part by you and the group here and everybody, the Soul Citizens who are members, have just been very welcoming. And I think it's an amazing community that you don't see in gaming. And it's just different. Like, you don't get that in any of the MMO. You don't get that in you don't get it in any MMO. So so for me,
let me say this. Let me say this. I understand you wanting people to experience and be a part of something that you believe is really good. But my encouragement to you is, because you said it, and I know you said it, and that's exactly what you did. And because plenty of us have done this before, and I've learned not to do this. Don't defend this game. The only defense for this game is this game proving itself that it does what it says it's going to do. And CIG does that. That's how they defend their game. They don't ever come out and defend what they do. It comes out in the product, because as consumers, people, that's why the woman in that thing told you, talk about it when it's done. That's what that meant. And so you and I are buying into a dream, and that's fine. We've chosen to buy into a dream, and we see some things that allows us, that makes it tangible for us. But trying to defend something that people are outside of and don't understand, or even if they're within the community, they're basically saying the people who feel against it or feel very difficult, it's because they don't have enough evidence to make them feel the way you do. They feel that the evidence, the scales don't match for them. Now, some of us, as we call it, hopium. And so some of us throw hopium on the scale to swing it a little bit more so that we feel a little bit better. But I'm saying I would avoid defending anything CIG does or defending this game. Because what's going to prove it is when it comes out. And there are people who didn't look at Star Citizen 3, 4, 5 years ago who are now playing it. They will come in. Eventually, if the game delivers, they will hear exactly what you're saying. Nothing wrong with inviting folk. Nothing wrong with inviting people. But you've heard me say this before. I have only invited like 3 people out of freaking 14 years to this game. Because I know people aren't in the mental space. Even gamer friends of mine, They're not in the
I
mental
have
space
warned
to approach
people.
this game.
No, I have warned people about where the state is and where patches hit, and you'll have great patches, and you'll have a patch like we have now, or just
But most
recently.
gamers aren't looking for that.
But
Most gamers aren't looking for that.
no,
Most
I
gamers
know.
are
This
looking
is
for
why
finished
you
product.
have to preface this stuff like that. But
Yeah.
when I look at Star Citizen, I look at stuff they said 10 years ago, 8 years
Mhm.
ago, like medical, and
Right.
they have never like gone away drastically from one thing. They've only made it more
Mhm.
intricate. Say medical
Mhm.
gameplay. Mining, everybody thought mining was done at a certain time, and then they made mining more intricate. And then we had gadgets, and then
Mhm.
these modules that were attached to your mining head, and people are like, holy shit. And
Mhm.
it's all these things, and it's just like that's how I see every gameplay mechanic
Mhm.
in or career in the game.
Mhm.
So, but that takes time, and I
Right.
understand that. It was just like, but I think dealing with everything going on,
Mhm.
and then dealing with this jack shit like F5 crap that they have been doing for years that I didn't really know about. I'm
Mhm.
just like, and then now people can actually, manufacture their own ships and like the space stations in the future. I'm like, dude, what
Mhm.
is with this? Why is this crap so outdated? And like, I think somebody in chat said something about they haven't like increased the I think SC Malenber, the player base has grown, but the limited ship has increased. I actually agree with that because I'm like, to go out so fast with bots, with them trying to figure out the bots, I'm just like, this is crazy quick. I don't understand it.
Well,
So
let
if
me
the
ask you.
player
Let me.
base
We got to
like
wrap this up. So tell me what
fivefold.
your point was in relation to the cost, because we're pushing over our time here. We're almost at
I
the
haven't
top of
played
the
the
hour.
game since then. I haven't
Okay.
played. I installed the game. I was so
Okay.
pissed off.
Okay.
And we were talking about
Now,
frustration and stuff like that.
exactly. Yes, that's
But
what I want you to talk about.
but
Yes.
that,
Did you
that's where
notice?
we're
Did you
going.
notice that the things that we're talking about though are why you did that? Have you put that one and one together? Yeah. Everything we
Count-
listed is what you just said.
Okay.
Why you disconnected the game, which
Oh,
is
well,
why.
I mean, yeah, it hits you.
Yeah, but
It definitely hits you in a way because, like, I mean, again, I've been like, a lot of people come to join. They will watch the show, right?
Mhm.
And they're like, oh, you watch Soul Citizens like the White Knighters, right?
Mhm.
And I don't feel that's always the case. And I think
Mhm.
you give a great, back and forth. But in this one instance, I was like, Jesus criminy hell! Like, I can't believe that is something that actually is a thing. And it just really like turned the knife in me. I wasn't really expecting it. And I was like, oh, this is
Mhm.
interesting.
Well,
And I was just so
let me
pissed
give
off
you this
by
to
it.
think about. Let me give you this to think about. What you experienced is quite often the same experience in other areas of the game that other people experience, and this is what it is. It's when something happens in the development that all of a sudden hits you. There are a lot of people who play Star Citizen who play it every day, and they don't have any problem. And so their perspective is that things are okay. But when their thing doesn't work, Star Citizen's a problem. Because there are people who hurt in this game all the time. There are people who, for example, the person who can't log in for 2 weeks. I'm not thinking about them when I'm playing, because when I'm playing the game, everything's wonderful. But there's somebody who wants to play the game who cannot play at that time. And it's not until it affects me that all of a sudden CIG is a bunch of SOBs. Okay? And that's how everybody or most people in this game respond, because we play very selfishly. As long as my game is fine, everything's fine. And I'm saying we're all fall into that category. Me too. Everybody does. It's not until it hits us. This is like anything else in life, right? Nobody worries about cancer until it's their parent that dies. Then all of a sudden they're out marching, right? That's the way we are. And quite often with this game, we do the same thing, because there's always something where somebody is not having the experience or couldn't buy. That F5 thing has been around forever. We were telling you that before. There's nothing new about that. That's why people go out there and do it. It has been there forever. There are people who sit up and wake up in the middle of the night. They get up 3-4 times trying to buy that thing, and they've done it for several years, and they never get it. This was your first experience.
Oh yeah,
So,
and like you,
so
I was in
mhm.
Spectrum, and it was the comments were insane.
Yeah,
It
what
was
is
just
that
like,
new?
and I watched it. I was just watching the Odin thing, and people like was swearing and stuff like that, and calling
Mhm.
CIG this, and then
But
I
you
was
get
in
my
there,
point. Do you get
during
my
the
point?
discussion.
If they had
Oh
got it,
yeah,
they
because I
wouldn't
was
be in
looking at it
Spectrum. Hear what
before.
I'm saying? If they got their ship, they wouldn't be like, I got my ship.
No,
Oh, and by
well,
the way, could you make sure the process is easier? No, they'd be on their ship,
no,
and that's
no.
all
Well,
they'd
I
be
know there were
worrying about.
people. Some said they had it, but everybody else was like, "Yeah, okay, appreciate
Yeah,
it."
no, but
So
you're
it
missing
was,
my
it was
point.
Real quick,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think it's time. I think it's time to wrap.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, but I hear you, Admiral. Believe me, I hear you, and it is a problem. I'm not saying that it isn't a problem. All I'm saying is that there's always something where people are getting affected. And you've heard me say this before. People should come to gaming to enjoy themselves. And when you're not finding joy in game, of all things, there's so many other things in the world to be also getting gray hair over. But I try to encourage people not to get gray hair over gaming, because this is the one outlet we have to help us escape and get away. And if this one gets don't get me wrong, sometimes we do need to step back. Sometimes we need to say, you know what, I'm taking a break from Star Citizen for a little while. There's nothing wrong with that. We've encouraged people to do that if they need to do it. I want people to do it soberly more than because they get so upset and they're breaking up their mouse and smashing their keyboard and saying, I'm not playing Star Citizen anymore. Okay. But thank you for coming in, Admiral. We do have to wrap it up. Okay. And thank
I
you
just want
again
to let
for
people know
sharing.
they have 6 more minutes to jump into chat here, so you
No,
can
we're
close
gonna
up at
wrap.
10,
We're gonna
10,
wrap.
10
We're gonna
Eastern.
wrap. Listen,
You have to do it on the top of the hour, Griff. You got at
I
least 7 more
know
minutes
we
left.
got to go.
No.
Thank you. All right. Thanks again, buddy. All right. Listen, we
You got to
are
go
going
home,
to
but you gotta
wrap
get out of
things
here.
up. Yeah, Pascal, come on. Yeah, we got to get going. All right. We are going to close it out. Listen, you guys, thank you all for hanging in here with us, especially our guests who may have been your first time here with us. See, most of you did stay, and hopefully you got something from the conversation. I know we were kind of all over it, but hopefully we all kind of looked at this a little bit and say we do understand that it is tough. This journey is not an easy one, and it is a very difficult one. It's difficult for Star Citizen. It's difficult for the players, and hopefully it's going to get better. That's all I can say. And I hopefully that you're here believing that hopefully things will get better too. I know sometimes it doesn't feel that way, but those of us who've been around for a while, we've seen these things happen, right? Thank you, Coffee. It is a marathon. Absolutely. It is a marathon. It really, really is. Let's talk about what we have coming up, because we do have something different coming up next week. Oh, before that, there was somebody who gave us a hit earlier. I know it was Meg, Grim, Red Wolf gave 5 community subs earlier. Red Wolf, thank you. I did not want to miss that. Expat Brat came with the raid. Oh, was that last week? No, that was this week, right? No, that was that was earlier. Expat Brat raided us. Okay, listen.
Yeah.
Thank you all for all the raids and everything today. You guys were amazing. Who is raiding us now? Somebody raiding us? Oh my god.
I didn't hear anything.
I'm hearing the raid sound for some reason. But I know somebody's dropping bits, and the things is popping up behind, and I can't see whoever it is. Whoever is doing those subs and bits, thank you. I'm sorry our sign is blocking the goofy thing that's popping up right now. But thank you so much for that. I wish we could acknowledge who that was, but we did hear the pinging, so thank you. Next week, we are going to begin a series. We did some series on industrial ships and stuff like that and whatnot back in the day, and we did them on the different manufacturers, but we never really tackled the big capital ships in the game. And so we are going to be doing that. So we're going to be doing the Bengal Carrier, and then we're going to work our way backwards, and we're going to do the Odin, and then we're going to do the Javelin, and then we're going to do I think we did do the Idris back in the day, but I know we're going to do at least those ships. We may do something else other than that. I'll talk to Fastcart about it, but that's going to be on next Sunday. So hopefully you guys will be able to join us for that show. FC, what are we missing? Anything in particular before we get ready to get out of here?
I think that's about it. I'm disappointed no one talking about my hair, but that's fine. I get over it.
What happened to your hair? What, did you cut it? Did you cut it?
Yeah, I'm bald now.
Oh, yeah. Well, not you. What? You did this little light bounce off of it. I can see it now. I couldn't see it. Okay.
Yeah.
You decided to go with a new look.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can I have a case for false advertising, because after shaving my head for a few days, I look nothing like the poets.
Oh, my God. Okay. I'm sure the poets will appreciate that. Well, listen, Listen, again, thank you guys for being here today with us. We really appreciate you all. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hopefully you can join us again on next Sunday, where we're going to be talking about the Bengal carrier. And that's going to be an interesting show because we haven't talked about that. And other than that, we're going to send you guys over to Jet Set. We haven't seen her out here in a little while, but she's playing Star Citizen. Great streamer. When you guys get over, she's only got 20 people watching her. So get over and give her some love when you get over, when you see Jet Set. And tell her you came from the Soul Citizens. To my co-host, Fastcart, thank you, brother. I know it was a lot of information tonight we took in. Appreciate you. Thank y'all for hanging out for 3 hours. Admiral got y'all almost correctly. 2 hours and 57 minutes. We're going to send you guys over there. As always, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and peace, love, and soul. See you soon. Ciao.